was Tom Sawyer by Rush.
Okay, that's a choice.
I can't remember what the first one was. They were both really funny though.
Here was the part I didn't understand. Was so he's admittedly, this is not a judgment. I've never driven with or seen Dan drive. He admittedly said he's a very bad driver.
Well, 13 accidents.
Speaks for himself.
10 in a year, John.
Yeah.
Speaks for itself.
10 in a year.
You could also flip that. He's only been in 3 in the last 10.
That's exactly what I said.
So
positive boys.
He's really.
I'm still going to classify that in the category of bad.
Very bad driver. And he owned up to his bad driving. But he also said that his friends, because of the year in which he gave up his license in order to ever be able to drive again, basically, that since they gave him so many rides that year, that he is their now like permanent chauffeur.
Which doesn't seem fun.
If I were one of his friends, I would not be interested in that arrangement at all.
Yeah.
Is that a fair trade-off?
No. Not for the friend.
I would say for his friends that is gambling their lives every time. It's not a fair trade-off at all.
I used to think, because the shtick was that, Damon's not the greatest driver in the world. And I always thought if we started a 1620 the Zone Demolition Derby team, Damon would be the driver.
It would be Dan.
But now I think we almost need to have like a drive off between.
Maybe it would be so bad that there would be no demolition at all. They would fail to run into each other.
They're so bad at driving.
Yeah, maybe they're not good at running into the things
that they're supposed to run into.
Maybe they just aren't good at getting the car to go where they want it to go.
So what we need to do is bill it as just another race, and then it'll turn into a demolition derby.
Yes.
Instead of billing it as a demolition derby.
It's just a road race, and then everybody's like, wink, wink.
Yeah, they're actually going to crash into
This
each other.
is a demolition derby.
That almost sounds like a bit. You know how Borat would go into
my wife
and do all these things. That almost sounds like a bit. You could really like piss off some folks because if you promote a big demolition derby, and I don't know if you know this, but demolition derbies tend to draw some very interesting people.
Sure, there's
in the crowd.
Demographic that I identify with.
Boiled chicken,
but you could almost
some real boiled chicken energy in the demo derby crowd.
You could almost do like a bit where you like hire 18 drivers to do a demolition derby, and then they start the demolition derby and no one
just go in a circle.
And well, they just keep missing each other. They just don't hit each other.
It would
the
be
most
impressive.
boring demolition derby ever, and just get reactions from the fans.
Dan would end up hitting something though, because he blamed a lot of his struggles on road rage.
Oh yeah, he would get mad and just hit something.
He would just hit the wall eventually. Like he would try to hit other people and then miss a whole bunch, and then eventually just hit the wall. So he would wreck.
I do appreciate the self-awareness about his shortcomings.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's good to have.
I applaud him for that.
I am glad that he's leaving the studio about 4 hours before.
Yeah, I know. We got to keep Dan off the roads.
Yeah.
But he's walking now.
I'm keeping an eye on my car right now.
I don't think he lives too far away.
He does not. He walks to work. Yes.
Which is that's again a solid self-awareness to know, like, hey, maybe driving's not for me.
Yep.
Maybe it's not for me.
Yeah.
We make this assumption that everyone is capable and worthy of driving. Maybe they're not.
Yeah.
I got cut off 6 times this morning on my way into work.
See?
6 times. You know where I live from here.
I do. Yeah. It's not that far.
6 times.
That's impressive.
One of them was by a truck who couldn't decide what lane he wanted to be in.
There was a county 29 in front of me today. Oh my
those
God.
29s.
Washington County.
Listen, so they basically stopped on Dodge because it wasn't even a pothole. It was one of the manhole like dips. And they didn't want to hit it too fast, so they essentially stopped.
No, you can't do
right
that.
in front of it. Was right before we got to Children's on the west side.
Yeah,
and just almost completely stopped in a lane on Dodge. So not great there.
You can't do that.
And then they turned off.
You got to just hit it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like listen, it's like an inch.
It's too late. You haven't prepared enough for this. You have to just bang it. You have to go through.
It's a pothole dip. It's like an inch and a half. Just chill, man. It's not that big of a deal. And then when he turned off, got halfway into the turn lane. There was a full turn lane. Halfway into the turn lane, turning right, just stays there the whole time.
Oh, man.
Riding the line.
Not riding the line, like half and half.
Half and half.
Oh, my God.
I honked at him and stared. I was upset.
Hey, I have been honking quite a bit lately. I feel like I should probably calm down.
No, don't calm down.
Thank you, Ravi.
Let people know when
Thank you. Yes.
People need to know when they're being stupid. That is your duty
what I always say.
as a human.
I agree.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, because people are always like, oh, well, come on, you're going to honk your horn after like 2 seconds of a guy when he hasn't gone at a green light. Yes,
absolutely.
He has to go. It's time to go.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you like lay on the sucker, but if it's just like a token, beep, beep.
Listen, there's different ways to honk a horn.
Yes.
Okay, there's your, hey, just maybe you're looking at your phone, pop up, just, time to go now, bud.
Yep.
And then you're doing something incredibly stupid. You lay on it. And listen, I didn't even go the full lay on the horn for County 29 today because it's like you were stupid, but it wasn't inherently.
That was a lay on the horn situation, though.
So I only do it if it's like something that could have been really dangerous. This was annoying, but not super dangerous.
Okay.
So I gave him it was more than the pop for sure. It was like a meh, give him a little extra so they knew they did something wrong. But I will only do the full lay on if it's like I had to avoid you hitting me. In which case, I will just hammer that.
Okay, I like this.
Listen,
hierarchy.
The horn is very versatile. People, you need to learn how to use your horn correctly.
I agree.
So now we got past that. Taste Test Friday.
Oh,
yep,
it's happening.
Ravi and I haven't been told anything.
I am aware.
I'm not a fan of this.
I am aware.
I'm not a fan.
I'm a little nervous.
So Nick has informed me, John, you may know about this.
That
there is a phenomenon where people will put peanuts inside of their Pepsi.
No, it's Coke.
It's Coke.
It's Coke.
I've always been told it was Pepsi,
It's
and I've
Coke.
always done
It's
Pepsi.
Coke.
I think it's regional.
We did this.
Nick told me this. I have no idea what's going on.
When I grew up, my grandpa, my dad, his dad before him, Pepsi.
This is
Pepsi sucks.
We've done this.
This is like a deep South thing with Coke.
Yes. We did that. I don't remember who was. I think it was me, Josh, and Stibbs.
Yeah. You did the peanuts in the Coke?
I'm not steering you wrong. I'm being
please
honest.
go ahead.
I still want to do it.
Do you guys want to?
No, I'll give it a go.
Sure.
I've never done the peanuts in the Coke, so I'll try the Pepsi.
So,
peanuts and Coke is fantastic.
You need to pour it out because you need some room.
See, that's the thing. The thing is what you do is you either take a couple of swigs out of the bottle and then you fill it up with the peanuts. So you're actually doing it in the bottle.
Yeah.
Typically, yes.
Typically, but if others are going to do it, they didn't have the individual bags of the Planters, but it has to be Planters. So
it has to be
Planters.
Okay.
It does.
I've never heard that. Well, see, I heard it had to be Coke. So the first time I learned it was like 30 years ago when I was working at the truck stop.
A handful should be fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's normally like, like the normal thin bags of peanuts. It's usually a whole bag of those. Or
that's a lot of peanuts.
It's a lot of peanuts.
Yeah.
It's a good combination with the Coke.
Yeah, I haven't tried it with the Coke. I also obviously haven't tried it with the Pepsi. So we'll see how it goes.
Enough.
Yeah.
I do have a Pepsi Coke confession to make.
Oh no.
Oh.
How much Pepsi you want,
better?
Is this going to be better or worse than your turkey?
Oh, it's probably going to make people real mad.
What's your turkey?
God.
What? Whoa.
I hate turkey. It's trash.
Oh, that's bad. Bad take.
Nope, it's terrific.
People like to
now
crap
I don't
on
feel
turkey.
as good because Connor agrees with me.
Oh no! Am I that guy?
Yeah,
he's
the
Mr. No.
You got boiled chicken energy on your side here.
That's how rumors get spread. Do not boil my chicken.
But what is your Pepsi Coke thing?
So this is diet because I drink exclusively diet.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you.
All right. This is not Diet Pepsi. Is that going to be okay?
Yeah, no, it's. I'm not going to drink enough for it to be a problem. I have and frequently do mix Diet Pepsi and Diet Coke together.
Oh,
really?
I actually think it's better than either of them.
Wow.
Because here's so
I'm not against it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Diet Coke. So here's the thing. I carry this bottle around all the time, right? As you know, lots of ice in it.
Full of ice.
And then I put my soda in there. There's sometimes when I run out of either Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi, whatever I bought that day, and my next purchase was the other one. Well, I'm not going to dump out what's in there. This is how it started. And so I will just top it off with whatever my new thing is. So that you get the Diet Coke, Diet Pepsi in there. It actually, I think it tastes better because the Diet Coke sometimes has a little more bite that I'm looking for. And the Diet Pepsi evens it out.
Okay.
And the Diet Pepsi can be a little sweeter than I want. And the Diet Coke brings that down. It's kind of a perfect mixture of both.
Interesting. All right. I'm not gonna cost you for that. I will say this though. The peanuts in the Pepsi, and I'm trying not to be anti-Pepsi, it works far better with Coke because of the snap. Because of the snap of the Coke.
This isn't bad though.
I mean, it's fine.
Pepsi
but it's not
is
as good
inherently a lot sweeter than Coke.
See, the sweetness, the sweetness of the Pepsi doesn't work as well.
It overwhelms the peanuts a little bit more
as
than
the snap of the Coke does with the peanuts.
Yeah, that's why I like Pepsi to me.
That's why I always got the Planters, because the Planters are normally more salty.
No, I can taste the peanut, but
yeah.
I can imagine with Coke it'd be a little bit more prevalent.
The combo is much better with Coke.
The taste is a little more evenly distributed.
Yes.
This is like,
and you still get that the snap of the Coke.
This is like Pepsi with like a hint of peanut, whereas the Coke, I think you get a little bit more peanut flavor because it's the sweetness of the Pepsi is just a little overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like some other combinations, and I'll give an example in a moment.
Like
I'll give two examples.
Boiled chicken and Pepsi?
No.
Could you boil a chicken in Pepsi?
Probably.
Actually,
it'd be very sticky, I think.
All right.
Anyway,
don't. My question here is why still, even after having it, it doesn't. I don't think this enhances my Pepsi experience.
Not in a manner that's significant enough that I would go out of my way to do
exactly.
it. Yeah,
it definitely doesn't enhance my peanut eating experience.
No, I love a good peanut.
Examples of this.
Good job enunciating.
Why do people dip their French fries in the Frosty?
Oh, that is a better experience.
That's a flavor combo. That's the sweet and the savory.
No, it's not. The French fry is better by itself. The Frosty is better by itself.
Disagree.
Chili and cinnamon rolls. Chili is better by itself.
No,
cinnamon rolls are better by itself.
I like chili and cinnamon rolls as a meal together, but I don't put them on top of each other.
I don't either.
People do that.
They will, and I'm fine with
weird.
that. But I just need to have them
I
together.
agree with Connor there. I'm not okay with putting chili on a cinnamon roll. They're both better separate. They're a great like winter meal.
Yeah, that's a fine meal.
It's a good
fine plate.
It's a good platter.
A fine plate.
Don't make like a weird chili cinnamon roll casserole.
So you guys are out on because the Lead Bellies does that burger where the bun is a cinnamon roll and then they douse it in chili. So you guys would be totally out on that.
Yeah,
I don't like burgers that I can't pick up with my hands.
I agree with that take, Nick.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
then it becomes not a burger, it becomes something else.
Because then you have to start using a knife and a fork, and then it's just to answer your question, I have no idea. It's a thing that my dad would do growing up, and I asked him why, and he said Grandpa did it. And then I tried it, and I like
Grandpa did it.
I think it's a texture thing. I think I like it because of the texture.
So are you supposed to eat the peanuts while you're drinking it?
What I'm doing.
Yeah.
Well, what I was told, and again, I found out this, from a truck driver a long time ago. For truck drivers, this was an easy way to do both because instead of
grabbing, taking your hand
instead
off the
of
wheel.
switching things in your hand, you got a hand on the wheel. You put your peanuts in with your Coke, and
I think it was
that's why they did it.
I think it was a similar principle with my grandpa. If he was out in the field,
yeah.
I think he would mostly drink this in the combine.
Driving the old combine there.
Well, here in
I don't find the need
here in radio, we don't.
No,
our hands are generally free.
Yeah, hands free.
Yeah. It's a hands-free job.
I'm
just trying to bring some of my culture to you guys.
Well, thank you.
As Connor knows, I have no problem eating while I'm on the air.
You do.
I wait till breaks.
You wait till breaks.
I wait till breaks. I'm not an animal.
But by the end of the show, the pepperonis are all gone.
Oh man, love a good bag of pepperonis.
Good bag of roni.
I brought Connor around on the bag-o-ronis.
Yeah, no, they're good.
It's a good snack.
It's good.
Did it gross you out when he would eat the cold turkey chili?
I never did that in front of him.
Cold turkey chili.
Yeah,
well, he would just get the Hormel chili
so I had the can
and not warm it up, and he'd just eat it right out of the damn can.
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, that's weird.
And it was the turkey chili, which you don't like.
I don't like it, but the macros are better. That was a purely functional meal.
We're talking about fuel here.
Yeah, so that's when I was very into powerlifting and like trying to make sure I got all my protein in, and I was trying to make sure I stayed in the weight class I wanted to be in for the competitions I was doing. And so the cans of bean-free, no bean turkey chili from Hormel were really good macros. It was like 28 grams of carb.
We talking spoon here?
Yeah, I take a spoon.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I'm not like just.
Well, I don't know. That's the way I imagined it.
Just dumping it in my
You're
mouth.
not just chugging chili.
You slapping the can.
You didn't bring a funnel with you.
One chunk at a time.
I'm not like going in face first dog food style or anything like that.
I don't know what to think.
No, I had a spoon. John can attest. I had a spoon.
Yeah, he wouldn't stick his face in the can.
Yeah, I'd be freaked out about that.
He was. I think we spent a lot of time on it that day.
Yeah,
and this was several years ago.
Yeah, it was one of the first. It was one of the first times that I co-hosted.
But I had like the whole. I would bring the whole lunch bag in
for sure.
and that was one of my meals in the lunch bag was, just a couple of cans of Hormel no bean turkey chili.
What's in the goodie bag today?
I don't have a goodie bag today because I ate before I got here.
Nice.
The afternoon show is a little bit easier to navigate.
Yeah.
So I had some breakfast sandwiches this morning when I was in for Damon for a couple hours.
Just hammered them during the break?
Well, I ate it before I got in here. I get to the morning show pretty early.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm terrified of being late. So I get here.
Preaching to the choir, man.
I get here at like 5:30 usually, which is, I mean, Chance gets here usually before me, but.
Yeah, and I usually just sit around. Yeah. I end up just sitting around.
Yeah, I mean, I read some stuff and prep a little bit extra, but I'm terrified of being late for the morning show because of like just not waking up or whatever, because that's it's an ungodly hour to be up.
Yes.
But yeah, so I get here at 5:30 almost every time.
So ultimately, I think this is a fine experience, but not something that I would repeat again because once again,
That's fair.
I don't feel the need to.
It's not a thing I do constantly.
Okay.
It's just sometimes I get a craving and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it.
Do you have a favorite nut?
I do.
Like as a snack?
Yeah, it's
what else would
cashew.
Cashews are good. Cashew is a good nut. I don't know.
I don't like cashews.
Those are the like crescent shaped ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those. Yes.
Yeah.
I like a good cashew.
I had a tweet about my favorite nut style a couple weeks ago. I think. Let me check.
It seems like you're being very careful about your wording there.
Sorry.
I'm a big pistachio guy. I love pistachios.
Pistachios are amazing.
You have to be careful with those. If you eat too many, you can poison yourself.
Did
you know that?
I didn't know.
I didn't. I probably have come close. I'll go pretty hard on the pistachios.
Too many pistachios are toxic for people.
Here it was. May 12th. Cashews are the goat nut.
Oh, cashews are a really good nut.
The goat.
As far as a snacking now, at a baseball game, love peanuts.
Yeah.
But do you like these peanuts or do you like to crack them?
I like to crack them.
Yeah.
I also
especially
like
at a ball game, right?
You go to Wrigley Field and the key is you buy it from the vendors outside because it's cheaper outside and you can take it inside.
Oh, they let you bring them in?
Yeah, you get your peanuts outside. Now they still mark them up, but not as much as they mark them up inside the stadium.
Yeah.
And then you get your bottled water. And in fact, I still have some left over from Wrigley Field. But I like to crack them open. And
better baseball game snack, peanut or sunflower seed?
I say I'm not a sunflower seed guy.
Not a seeds guy?
Yeah, I've never been a seeds guy.
Seeds are
but
great.
I do like peanuts.
My favorite part about going to like steakhouses when I was a kid was you get the bucket of peanuts. I mean, the steak was awesome too, but you knew that was going to happen. You get the bucket of peanuts, and then there were some places you could just throw them on
Chuck
the floor.
them on the floor.
Yeah. I love that. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Also, peanuts are just delicious.
They are delicious. Now, if they were more common and I could afford them, I would snack on macadamia nuts all day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Love macadamia nuts.
Where do you sit on almonds?
I like almonds.
Almonds are good, but plain almonds are a little bland.
It feels healthier.
I like the smokehouse almonds.
Yeah, I like the ones that have like a little bit of.
Yeah,
you smoke them and they've got a little bit of I don't know, seasoning on them or something.
Yep.
Those are pretty solid. But some people will just like eat plain raw almonds and they're pretty bland.
They're very
I don't. Mine have to have at least be salted, but I prefer the smokehouse variety.
I think pistachio is my favorite nut. I love a pistachio.
I don't have them very often.
Also,
the only time I would have them is in a mixed nut.
It's a lot of work too.
But so is cracking open the peanut.
A peanut, you can crack open a good peanut.
Also, that's a little. There's a little. I don't know. I think I like it's a little cathartic to like sit there, crack the pistachio. Like it's a.
And I will say this. It is cleaner than the peanut.
Oh, for sure.
It's much cleaner.
The peanut
it's going to crack in half every time, the pistachio.
Yeah,
like you're going to have
occasionally you run into one that doesn't have a big enough opening to crack, and that becomes an issue.
Yeah.
But peanuts get real dusty.
They get real dusty. The fingers get dusty.
Yeah. And they don't break clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Sometimes it's not enough just to,
no, it sticks.
Yeah.
Especially if you're popping them in your mouth, your fingers
or if you're sitting outside sweating at a baseball game.
Yeah, they get a little moist. You got to
go to the bathroom and wash the hands off.
It's a problem. You end up with peanut butter caked all over your hands, basically.
There you go. And that was a crossover.
Hell yeah, it was.
That was a crossover.
Thanks, Nick, for showing me your
nut
culture.
heavy.
Very
absolutely
nut heavy. Yeah, very nut heavy.
I feel like an Iowa.
The Nut Boys.
Nope, that's not a thing we're probably going to do.
No, I can make it to a drop now.
No, I don't think so. All right.
The Nut Boys.
Well, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Hap. I could use that.
Have a great weekend.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you too.
Yes.
Hopefully, have some good boiled chicken.
Good big boiled chicken energy.
Not me.
That's our guy, Connor Happer.
Not me at all.
Boiled chicken enthusiast.
I'm playing a lot of golf this weekend.
Yeah.
Playing Saturday, playing Sunday. I got my yearly tournament this weekend.
Where are you playing at?
Playing at Benson one day and Johnny Goodman the other day.
Nice.
Okay.
Shout out to the 12th, 13th annual Bromaha Open. Those are my
Okay.
guys. Yeah.
Awesome.
There you go. I think I'm playing some pickleball this weekend.
Pickleball.
Good.
Big pickleball guy.
That's a good reminder, kids, that the Golf Flash is coming up
Uh-oh.
in about 3 weeks.
Uh-oh.
So if you want to get your team registered there at Miracle Hill, it's going to come with the golf. 4 teams, four-person teams, $300. Always a great time. Tee prizes, lunch, carts provided. MiracleHillGolf.com.
If anybody wants me as their driver, not like driving the club, but if you just want me to
the
drive
cart?
your golf cart and be entertainment for you, I would be interested in that.
I was
Okay.
thinking like their driver, like their club. So you just go up to the tee and just chuck their ball as far as you can.
Nope, not
No,
that.
no.
I'm not a big golfer. I am very big on drinking and carousing outside. So that,
That's fair.
if you're interested in that, let me know.
That's fair.
I'm available.
All right.
Golf Flash.
Let's get a program started on a One Beer Friday, 1620 The Zone.
Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Partly cloudy to mostly sunny for your Friday afternoon and very comfortable with highs today into the mid-80s, light winds. As we head into tonight, skies becoming mostly clear with overnight lows in the low to mid-60s. Saturday, mostly sunny with temperatures a little bit warmer into the mid and upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Heading to a cookout with family or friends? Heading home from a ball game? Or heading no place in particular on a random weekday? All seems like great reasons to head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Hey, it's Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. Ice cream on a hot summer day or night is awesome. And ice cream from Ted and Wally's is even awesomer. Yes, it's a word. You know me. I make them up, but not this time. Cones, cups, pints, quarts, even half gallons to go. Head to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Celebrating more than 35 years, 2 locations, Benson and the Old Market. Visit tedandwallys.com.
Thursday, August 11th is an important date because on that day, you can finally make the leap from just having a job to building a career. The IBEW is hosting a career fair where you can meet and interview with multiple electrical and low voltage contractors, some that are hiring on the spot. Journeyman wage starts at more than $60 per hour with full medical, training, and retirement. Don't miss your shot. It's Thursday, August 11th from 4 to 8 at Embassy Suites Conference Center in La Vista.
1620 The Zone. Live and local, broadcasting 6A to 6P in the Host Coffee Zone studio. Host Coffee, building healthy and happy break room refreshment services to Omaha and Lincoln metro area businesses. Discover a better break room solution for your office at sales@hostcoffee.net.
O'Reilly. Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to forhims.com/perfect. That's forhims.com/perfect for your free visit. forhims.com/perfect.
This edition of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone is proudly presented by Union Bank and Trust. The program starts now.
KOZN. Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO. Don't miss a moment, they'll give you your fix. They're on every day from 2 until 6. Spend your afternoons with John, Josh, and Nick. John, Josh, and Nick. They'll show you what sports talk really is.
It's One Beer Friday, and we hear from Chins. I can't think of a better Friday.
A little bit of Chins music.
Oh, yeah. Sweet Chins music. It's actually not a bad idea.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone. Husker Athletics, Creighton, and yes, UNO.
It's also a Kent's Movie Club day. It is a sad day, though. This will be the last regular visit with our Fridee friend, Chris Basnett, of the Lincoln Journal-Star. He's shifting, covering prep sports now.
Yeah, he's not going away.
Yeah. But he won't be our regular Fridee friend anymore.
Yeah, it's sad.
But if we ever need good prep sports stuff, we know where to go. Well, we got our good buddy Sauter too, but we'll make sure we always throw a Baz a bone and talk some Cincinnati Bearcat football today. Also, yesterday on the program, we got into the conversation about the 16-team playoff because it seems like the motivation is now up for 16 teams in the college football playoff, and we also know the Big Ten is softening its stance on at-larges.
Yeah.
The SEC is all about the at-larges. Greg Sankey said as much. Hey, if we did an 8-team field, I'd be, 8 teams all at-larges. That'd be cool with me.
I don't think that'd be cool with anybody else.
No, but 16-team and all at-large field, I did a little more research on it.
Of what we were talking about yesterday.
Yes, because we kind of did it on the fly.
Yeah.
Did a little more research on it. Some interesting stuff. If we look at the history of the playoff, if we would have just taken the top 16
Since
teams.
the CFP started,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes, going back to 2014. So we'll do a little of that. And a lot of other stuff. George Kliavkov is talking about grenades being thrown at the Pac-12.
You got to be careful with the grenades being thrown at your conference there.
Yeah, you do. You do.
It's
you do.
It's a little dangerous there.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
I will say it was more revealing than you usually get from a conference commissioner.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 and Big 12 have been a little bit more honest than most have.
Right.
So that's interesting, I guess.
Yeah. Also, I came across an interesting map on Twitter the other day about where everyone's geographic recruiting center is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Where they looked at all the major college football schools, FBS schools, and looked at the whole roster and plotted where every player is from.
Sure.
And then gauged, okay, where's the geographic center?
Okay.
And I thought there was some interesting stuff on there. So we'll look at that too.
Spoiler alert, it skews south.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It does skew south. It definitely has a more I don't remember which one was which. I think Mason was the north guy and Dixon was the south guy.
But the line is
it's more of a Dixon thing than a Mason thing.
Yeah, I might just be saying that because Dixie, but I think Dixon.
I thought so. I'm
probably
not
the South.
100%. Somebody who might know.
He might know.
I think it's Mason Dixon. right?
Mason-Dixon line.
Yeah.
But I was saying we might be
Dixon.
thinking Dixon is south just because of.
Yeah. I don't remember
sounds
who
like
Mason and Dixon were.
I don't either.
It wasn't
I
like
assume they were like. I assume they were lawmakers.
it
of
was.
some
It
kind.
wasn't the make believe fighter that Rocky Balboa faced in Rocky Balboa.
Mason the Line Dixon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Underrated.
come on, can you? It was a good movie, but did it have to be so ridiculous? Couldn't he just have like a normal name? Why did it have to be Mason Dixon?
That's fair. Underrated movie though.
It's good,
Pretty good. Maybe
It really launched the Creed franchise.
Maybe
Kind of.
this is a hot take. I think maybe the best Rocky training montage of any of the movies. The Rocky training. Yes.
No.
You're on Russia.
Rocky 4.
Yeah, that's fine. I like.
But the beginning of the montage when Duke,
Let's
Apollo's
go build
old,
some hurting bombs.
and he does the thing where he cracks his
Yeah.
neck. I love that bit.
It's a really good montage.
You got too much calcium buildup. You're too old, so cardio is out.
So
And
heavy-
it's-
so-
we just got to build some hurting bombs. This is like, yes, this is my favorite part of the movie.
It was a very quality scene.
We believe, because Nick didn't ask definitively, someone who also is a big aficionado of fighting and boxing movies and stuff, and probably knows, the whole deal with Mason Dixon line. Is this Michael Severe?
John, I always thought they were two towns, and the line went through Mason and Dixon. That's what I always thought.
I
had no
think
idea
they
what
were
people-
senators.
Well, I'm gonna look it up.
I always thought they were like senators or congressmen, and it was like the agreement made between them to put the line there.
The
What's crazy is the line is just south of Philadelphia. I mean, it's like really north.
Yeah, it is. Actually,
Pennsylvania.
Maryland is south of the Mason Dixon.
Yes, Maryland is south of it. It's way up there. I mean, it's none of that. In parts of Maryland or south, D.C. is a pretty southern kind of town. But you get past that, Upper Marlboro area, that's very north. That's not south at all.
All right, Charles Mason and Jeremiah Dixon were surveyors.
Oh, Jeremiah, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, from the 1800s, or actually, it was in the 1700s they surveyed it. So yeah, that's a serious 18th century vibe there, Jeremiah. Sup, Michael?
I just wanted to wish you a happy 10 years with 1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
What you had?
Pretty cool.
Did you have that in your Facebook memories too?
We have the exact same Facebook memories, believe it or not. For the most part, they're exactly the same. There's no difference in them, except my kids and your kids. That's about the only difference.
I hear you. I appreciate that. Way this week marks 10 years here at the
I know you
Zone.
told me. I remember being in the car. I remember all the moments where my life changed in a different direction. I'm in my car. I'm talking to you on the phone, and you said to me, "I think we're going to move to Omaha. I think that's going to be the plan, depending on my wife's job." And 10 years later, are you still thinking about moving to Omaha?
The wife has an even better job that's in Lincoln, so I don't even. I think I'm still stuck. Every time I look at the odometer on my car, I'm like, "Yep, I'm still going."
Okay. And by the way, don't let Ravi say that we worked together for 3 months. What is up with that? It was 2.5 years. That dude makes stuff up.
I believe on the air yesterday I said you worked together for about 4 minutes, but legitimately,
it was like 15 months ish, 15, 16 months.
Legitimately in my head,
before Michael couldn't stand it anymore.
My recollection of it was that it was so brief, but it's probably because Michael and I were texting about this earlier. It's probably because he was with Kevin for so long,
right?
That comparatively, your guys' run together seemed so much shorter, in my
Right.
mind.
Well, I mean, one of the justifications used in hiring me was he's basically like Kevin, so with far less talent. So,
Oh, that's not what no, that wasn't it.
I believe that's what Neil said.
It sounds like something Neil would say.
They hired you because, if you don't forget, I guess you forgot by now, but
I'm
that
old.
chick's aunt died, and then he had to go to Pittsburgh.
Aunt
On the way
Betty.
to Pittsburgh, he did an interview. No, I'm just making it up. He ended up leaving for ESPN. So that's, you were a solid number 2, John.
I was a solid number 2, man. I was the Nate Mason.
It's better than a running number 2.
Yeah, running number 2 is best.
Good night.
If I can't rip on John Bishop, what can I do?
You can rip on.
I get.
Well, you rip on anyone. Now that you've given up gambling, apparently, you're going to have more time on your hands.
Wait, you gave up gambling?
Football. I deleted both. I had 3 apps on my phone. I deleted all 3. I'm not doing the 3-on-3 league I've been doing for, I guess, 12 years, and I'm out of fantasy football, including the league where I was commissioner for the last 18 years.
Did you find Jesus or something? What happened?
No, he lives around the corner from me. Hey, Zeus, you know him. Ray Ramirez. No, I don't. No, it's not bad. I'm going to try for a year just to do football and just do that and not pay attention to the other stuff like the gambling aspect of it or the fantasy aspect of it and see how it goes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just see. It's like 30 years of my life I've been doing fantasy football and/or some sort of gambling, betting on sports. So I just want to see how it goes. See what the feel is like.
Well, if you can pull it off, I'll be impressed. But then again, Michael's got some pretty good willpower. So
I was like,
hey man, I give up meat for Lent every year. I used to do Ramadan for no reason, not even Muslim. I mean, I'll give up something in a heartbeat. I have no problem.
He's a great quitter. He is Michael Severe,
an all-time great quitter.
I've had a drink in 20 years. I will quit something. I got no problem.
Yeah. You gotta. What I mean, you just don't have vices anymore. Like you got to do something.
It's Michael Severe. He's got vices.
Lots of porn. I mean, come on. There's no doubt about that. I remember having a conversation with Tom Osborne. We're talking, and he's like, the gambling and porn. I'm like, hey, slow down now.
There's children in the car.
There are children in the car. They're 16 and 13, so I gotta learn sometime.
Yeah.
All right. Every time you call in, this is something happens.
Oh, here we go. That would be the Mrs. Severe. Hello, Chris. Are the boys in the car too?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, John. So happy 10 years, John.
Thank you.
We were very lucky to steal you away from KLIN. You are the rock of not only your bolster but also the station, and you make Johnstown halfway decent. So good work by you.
Well, thank you, Michael. And hello. You said the boys are in the car, right?
Yes, they're back there. Yes, they are.
Logan and Miles, you're probably listening to your music or playing games, but hello to you guys. Hello, Chris. You guys be safe out there.
Hello. We will do that. Thanks,
all right.
man.
Take care. Michael Severe, ladies and gentlemen.
See you, Michael.
That was very nice of him. Yeah, this is the 10 week. This week, I don't remember the exact day, but it's always the last week of July. Yeah.
There you go.
10 years. There you go.
Whole decade.
Yeah, it's a long one.
Racking up those miles on your car.
Oh my God, am I racking up?
Have you? Is it the same car the whole time?
No, I did. I bought this one in 2014, 15.
Okay.
So a couple years in.
Okay.
Yeah. Over 200,000.
That's a lot of miles. They're highway miles.
They're all highway miles.
All highway. I love that when you're like looking for a used car and it's like it has 450,000 miles on it. All highway though.
All highway.
It's fine.
These are legit like 99 point per. Well, I guess I can't say 99 because I do drive through Lincoln and Omaha to get here. But I would
like
say
90%.
I would say
highway miles.
I would say at least 95% highway miles.
It's just always funny to me. It's like, yeah, it's 300,000 miles. Mostly highway, though. It's fine.
Highway. Yeah,
like,
no one will believe me either.
It's like, there is wear and tear on the highway to a certain degree as well. Like, you get to a certain number, the highway miles mean less to me.
Well, coming up, we got chins.
We got chins.
They took the clause out of Kyler's contract.
Cowards.
Hilarious.
Cowards.
And more. As we continue with Unsportsmanlike Conduct in 1620 The Zone. The good news is the air conditioner in that car still working great. But that's because I have it maintained regularly. You have air conditioners in your home. Do you have your ACs maintained regularly? And by maintained, it's just having that regular checkup. Well, if you join the Comfort Club at McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, you can get a twice annual inspection of the AC and the furnace, which is important, especially for gas furnace owners, because you want to make sure that thing is safe. And you also get discounts on repairs. You get moved to the front of the line when things get busy. And that Comfort Club membership is one low monthly fee that never changes for the lifetime of the membership. Plus, you're always dealing with fully certified, drug-tested, trained, and professional technicians. They really take their service seriously, which is why at McCarthy's 1 Hour, always on time or you don't pay a dime. They value your time. They value your business. So for more information, visit McCarthy's1hour.com and keep that AC running all summer long with McCarthy's 1 Hour Heating and Air. McCarthy's1hour.com.
Remember, no matter how you listen, it's still AM radio. 1620 The Zone.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit uet.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Cards issued by Celtic Bank, member FDIC.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's credit cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 3.3% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/sports. Ramp.com/sports. ramp.com/sports.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Text radio to 64,000 to try Babbel for free. That's radio to 64,000. RADIO to 64,000.
Sid Dillon Chevrolet has vehicles designed for the way you live. Shop our dealerships in stock and inbound inventory or to order your next vehicle. Visit SidDillonChevy.com.
You are what drives us, Sid Dillon.
Chevy, find new roads.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
The Omaha Farmers Market is open every Saturday in the Old Market from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and every Sunday in Exarban Village from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. May 7th through October 16th, enjoy the bountiful season of locally grown and handmade goods. Get the city's best selection of fresh produce, herbs, meat, and more. To keep up with what's in season, visit omahafarmersmarket.org and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Presented by University of Nebraska Omaha, Methodist Health System, and KETV Channel 7.
Email Sharp and Benning on the Equitable Bank inbox with your love, your hate, whatever your hot takes are. We're here for you. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Well, we can't really say the first week of fall camp is done. I mean, the work week is over, but they're technically only 3 days in. Yes, happy football week, everyone.
Happy football week.
Next week, it won't be football week anymore. We'll be back to normal stuff.
But there's still football things happening.
Oh,
What's
there
the
is?
first week of the season? Is that like Super Football Week?
Football week. That's a good question. I
think
don't know.
it might have been a little short-sighted to dub this football week. Maybe
Well,
this should have
blame
been.
Blame it on Josh.
Maybe this should have been practice week.
Blame it on Josh. That's what I always say.
Well,
he was the one that got all excited about football.
I mean, that's
he's the one that's been trying to kill my summer.
That's a reasonable default position. Just blame it on Josh.
Yeah.
Maybe it should have been called Camp Week.
Could have been.
Yeah, that's what you do in the summer. You go to camp.
It's actually camp month.
True. Yeah.
Or it's almost a full month.
Yeah.
As we're inside of a month now.
You get
to
what?
the
It's like a
start of
full
the season.
30 days, basically. They're at for camp for fall camp.
It's actually more than that, but they don't practice every single day.
Sure.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, Erik Chinander. Erik Chinander spoke to the media today.
Everybody good? Good to see you guys again.
Why, thank you, Chins.
It's nice to see you too, Chins.
Thank you, Chins. I appreciate that.
You're looking good, Chins.
He was good. He was seemed chipper, upbeat. Very.
Are we going to contrast that with his head coach?
I'm not contrasting anything. I'm just telling you what I saw. I'm just observing.
Just about Chins, chipper and upbeat.
Yeah, today was defense day at Husker practice. And let's see, where would you like to start? Well, let's start with an update on the boys up front, the D tackles.
Okay.
Stefan's done some really nice things here. Obviously, one day in pads. We were in underwears the last couple of days, so it's hard to tell those defensive linemen. But he did some nice things today. Nash has done a really nice job. Colton Feast has done a really nice job inside. Mosai Newsom's coming along. And then obviously, like you said, as soon as we can make sure we have all our T's crossed and our I's dotted with Devin Drew, we'll get him here as soon as possible and get him caught up to speed. And we're expecting a lot out of him as well.
By the way, I love the fact that he calls non-padded practice underwears.
Yeah.
Underwears.
Stefan's done some really nice things here. Obviously, one day in pads. We were in underwears the last couple of days.
Love it. Love it. It's terrific.
Now, of course, Nebraska is waiting before they can welcome in Devin Drew, the defensive lineman from Texas Tech. He was finishing up classes. They believe he will be available here maybe within a week and arrive, but that's going to put him behind, obviously. And obviously you have Stephon Wynn, the other big transfer they got from Alabama, who they're really expecting both those guys to have a major role this year. But you wonder how much, even with Drew's experience, just the fact that he hasn't been here for install, I'm assuming he's got access, to the iPad and, can do as much Kyler Murraying as he needs
Independent
to.
study.
Independent study as he needs to do. But it's different when you're not there with the fellas. This was a different offseason in that the coaches could work more with the players, which is kind of an advantage for a lot of people, and an advantage, especially for teams like in Nebraska who have a lot of newcomers.
But it puts Drew even further behind.
Yes.
Having not been here to work with the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you missed out on that opportunity. So it'll be interesting to see how quickly Drew comes along and how much they can get him going and up to speed in the time they will have him. And again, we won't know probably until early next week when he's going to be back. Let's see. Next up, he was asked about the edge rushers and the pass rush. Of course, O'Shawn Mathis, big addition.
Yeah.
Garrett Nelson, who some have dubbed the face of the program.
And an area where there's been a little bit to be desired there in terms of pass rush the last couple of years.
Don't forget, you also have a senior by the name of Caleb Tanner,
who has flashes.
Who has had flashes. So Chinander was asked about the edge, and he also talked about the pass rush too.
As good as those guys rushed in the spring with the addition of O'Shawn, I feel like we can do some different things on maybe third down and second and long. But I've asked those guys, the whole group, and the defensive line's a huge part of it, that we need to do what we did last year. And in order for us to really take another step, we've got to get a few more sacks and we've got to get a few more turnovers. I'd like a lot more, but if we can get, another sack a game, another turnover a game. And I thought we did a good job of intercepting the ball last year. We didn't get enough punch outs and enough fumble recoveries. So we're really concentrating on that as we start fall camp here.
And if you think about it, if you were to do the old T graph, list your positives on the left, your negatives on the right. The two things that are at the top of the negatives list is there's not enough havoc plays. There's not enough turnover plays. There's not enough quarterback pressures. If you look at the positive side, obviously they've improved in run defense every year. They've improved in general as a defense every year. I think fundamentally it's a sound defense that Chinander has run. Obviously they've played pretty well on the back end. Sans getting a lot of interceptions. The pass defense has been generally pretty good. But that really for this defense is the next step. And it's a big one because
that's what takes you from solid to you can hang your hat on this unit type of defense, because right now, last year, they were about as good as you can be without causing havoc plays. I think that's fair to say. They
really were. I mean, you really kind of hit that ceiling, right? Of how good you can be without those type of plays.
Yeah, without the big splash plays is what they call them on offense, but they're the same idea on defense. And even, recovering fumbles can be a little bit fluky just because of the way the ball bounces, but even causing fumbles is a havoc play in my mind, because we've seen the stats before, and I know especially with Nebraska on the offensive side of the ball, even having a fumble on a drive tends to kill that drive in general. So you don't even necessarily have to recover a fumble. Just causing a fumble can be a havoc play for your defense. They haven't done a ton of that. They haven't had consistent quarterback pressure or even just general penetration into the backfield. And turnovers in general have not been something they've been able to create on any sort of consistent basis. You can only be so good defensively without doing those things. And I think, honestly, I'm not being facetious here. I think Nebraska was as good as you can be on defense with just the solid part of the defense and not doing any of the extras.
With the tackling and the assignments, but without the havoc plays. Nebraska only forced 7 fumbles all year in 12 games, which was 92nd in the country.
Right.
And they only recovered 3 of those. And they say, generally, if you can recover half your fumbles, that's
about half. Yeah.
That's kind of where you're expected to be. And so Nebraska was, granted, very small sample size, but only 3 recovered fumbles. There were only 4 teams in all of college football that had fewer recovered fumbles last year.
Yeah, it's
Nebraska
it's
did.
uncanny how little they were able to be disruptive on defense. And despite that, we're still a very good unit.
Tackles for loss, 93rd in the country.
You have the sack numbers up there?
Yeah, I can grab them for you. Number of sacks last year, they were 101st.
So that's bad.
Yeah, I mean,
quite bad.
All bottom third
of,
in the country.
Yeah,
in those statistics. If and as Chin said, if we could just get a little bit better,
if you could get to top half,
or hell, middle of the pack.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like just in that middle,
get into the 60s, and it would almost feel like a revolution.
If you could get in the somewhere between 50 and 70 nationally, it would feel like you had created this incredibly chaotic defense.
And quite frankly, and yes, while they have improved, Nebraska has in the rushing stats, they've literally improved their rush per carry numbers every single year. I can't remember the exact number, but I think they've shaved basically 1.5 yards off of that 2018 average.
Yeah.
Even with that, Nebraska is still ranked. Now, last year they were 7th, so that really puts them right at the Mason-Dixon line. But they've been in the lower half of the Big Ten in terms of run defense. So even despite the improvement, Nebraska still, they got a long ways to go to get. They still have another yard in that. Well, they've got actually more than 2 yards to get to where Wisconsin was last year. But they basically have another yard to go to get into the top 3.
So again, there's room for improvement.
Yeah.
And honestly, with that though, I think part of the reason that those rushing numbers are not better, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but the sack numbers go into the rushing totals, right?
Yeah.
So the
that
sacks,
hurts.
the lack of sacks, and those consistent negative yardage rush plays, I think plays into that rush
It's a
number
good point.
a lot.
That's a good point. And I bring up the run defense again because I think, and we're not going to know how Drew is going to mesh in, how Nebraska is going to look up front, how their run defense is going to be. It would not surprise me if this year's run defense did take a step back.
Sure.
From where they were last year. So it puts more onus on creating the havoc plays, getting the pressure on the quarterback.
You can survive being middle of the pack on like a rush defense or something like that
in today's football
if you're consistently, or at least more consistently than Nebraska has, just taking things away.
Well, if you're creating negative plays, you're forcing teams either to punt
or pass
or into long yardage passing situations.
If you're in 2nd and 20, 3rd and 18, you like that solves your run defense right there by taking rushes off of their game plan.
Exactly. So Chinander was asked then on the back of talking about the edge rushers, what about the idea of having Mathis and Nelson and Tanner all on the field at the same time?
I think if you're a good coach, you probably put your best guys in the field at all the time. So if they're the 3 best pass rushers, we got to get them out there. And we've already started that talk a little bit. You got to have a plan for when they're all available, and you got to have a plan for when they're not all available, whether it's somebody's tired or somebody gets nicked up a little bit. But, you watch the NFL, there's so many personnel changes and packages. We've got to adapt to that and have some packages as well.
So you could see a havoc package put out there where all 3 of those guys, especially if you're in a 3rd and long situation.
I think it's
after them.
I think it's really smart to give yourselves those opportunities, right? We see the same. It's kind of a very basketball mindset in that you don't stick with necessarily the same types of defense. And you think about it more in the secondary when you're talking about, okay, we're going to go base or nickel or dime, but there's no reason you shouldn't do it in your front 7 as well. And you see teams put guys at an end that are pass rush specialists and things like that. But the idea of like, hey, maybe we just put more pass rushers on the field at different positions is, I think, a really good idea. It gives you an opportunity, especially if it's something you've struggled with,
right?
Gives you an opportunity to take advantage of situations that maybe in previous years, or maybe if you ran a more base set out there, you wouldn't be able to.
Up next, good news on the injury front as Nickelback Javen Wright, son of Toby, is back and fully healthy.
There we go.
To start camp.
Well, Javen brings some extreme length. I don't know if you guys have seen him very much. He hasn't been up here much, but, he's in that 6'3 plus 6'4 range, very long arms. He's got great movement skills. He's a really good coverage guy, and I think that he's really good in the run fit. Like I said, I haven't seen him tackle for a few years, so I don't know, but he's a very, very intelligent football player. Obviously we all know his dad and how physical he was. If he can be as physical as dad, along with the coverage skills he brings, he's going to be a special player.
And that is certainly a spot where Nebraska's got some questions because you have to replace a very unique talent in JoJo Doman.
Absolutely. That's one of the biggest questions on defense.
Yeah. You got Gifford, Kolarvik, fighting for that spot. There's others in there in that mix as well, but I'll be curious to see, and would it shock you if it was a kind of a team effort?
No, I think you're going to see multiple guys get a chance to own that spot.
Well, speaking of the secondary, Chinander was asked today about the battles in said secondary.
That whole back end right now, you name a position, safety, nickel, corner, there's great competition everywhere. And I think we've got very, very competent bodies everywhere, guys that are going to compete. And I think it's going to be probably very hard for Coach Fisher and myself to pick that starting 4 or 5. The good news is we've got guys where I feel like we can rotate more at safety, which we haven't always been able to do. We can rotate a little bit at corner or put a third corner out if we need to. But with that being said, when we get to the scrimmage and we have to actually tackle people, that'll separate the men from the boys a little bit.
And Chinander said that the first scrimmage isn't until practice 9, so I believe that would put it late next week. It's probably next Saturday, I think. I haven't looked at the exact practice schedule, but I believe it's late next week.
Sounds right.
So that will be the first opportunity for that to happen. And finally, question was asked about the transfers. Not only is Nebraska having to fold in the new transfers as part of the team, but they're all coming from these different programs who have different priorities and different tactics when it comes to strength and conditioning. And I thought this was an interesting question because you don't think about that as much. But here's what Chinander had to say about the transfers and kind of getting used to the new strength and conditioning program that they're having here versus at their old school.
I don't know what anybody else does strength and conditioning wise. I know Oshan had a little bit of an adjustment period when it came to the weight room and maybe the conditioning a little bit, and maybe some places focus a little bit more on speed than they do. And like I said, I think you have to mirror up your whole program with the league. And in this league, those guys up front, they have to be big and they have to be strong and they have to be explosive. And I think, Coach Duval probably puts a little more emphasis on that. And that was just a little bit of a learning curve Oshan had to get used to, but he's done a great job with it.
So Chins is saying that they're adjusting to the league. The league didn't adjust to them.
Yeah.
I was just, a little tongue in cheek there, but
yeah,
it's true though. There's two things that I think you have to look at with strength and conditioning that I think Nebraska has struggled with. One is, unless you are just faster than everyone else, which Nebraska hasn't been, you do have to be able to at least compete physically, especially on the lines. The other thing is, I think strength and conditioning is really dependent on your identity as a football program.
Yeah.
And that's where you really see gains in development. That's why programs like Wisconsin and Iowa are so successful in their strength and conditioning and development, is because they know exactly who they are and exactly who they're trying to become. Whereas that picture hasn't always been as clear the last few years at Nebraska, whether it was kind of the bringing in super small, fast guys trying to outrun everybody in the first couple of years to changing gears and trying to become more physical these last couple of years. That has an effect, and you're changing identity, even if it's not an entire shift, can really change how you approach strength and conditioning. And so that's something that I think maybe doesn't get talked about as much because there's been obvious other problems and on-field issues and things like that. But I think part of the reason you've seen a lack of development at Nebraska the way you have in years past is because of that lack of clear identity, because the identity of your program is the end. You know how people take before and after pictures when they're working out? The identity of your program is the after picture for your strength and conditioning journey.
Sure it is.
And that after picture hasn't been clear for a while.
So that was the first session during this fall camp with Erik Chinander.
Everybody good? Good to see you guys again.
Oh, thank you again, Chins. Appreciate it.
We are good, Chins.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you asking.
So kind.
Appreciate you asking. All right, on that subject, I retweeted it from the @USC1620 The Zone account. I'm not going to belabor the point, so don't worry. Those of you who are frustrated about Scott Frost's demeanor on Tuesday, but another national writer took note. Yesterday, we played the audio from the Action Network podcast, but I did want to read one snippet from this story by Matt Hayes, who writes for Saturday Tradition. And the story was entitled, "Awkward Silence Provides Another Reason to Question Scott Frost's Competence, commitment." So if you thought Tom Chattel was being harsh,
not a glowing,
give Matt Hayes
headline
a read.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to belabor all of his points, but there was one part in the middle I did think was interesting. He was going through kind of the timeline of how Frost was talking about his team on Tuesday, and Hayes writes, "And then it happened. The offensive coach in Frost just couldn't walk away." And then he quotes Scott Frost saying, "Stepping away is the wrong way to put it. this was the question asked regarding, the way it was phrased was, about you stepping away from the offense. And Frost said, stepping away is the wrong way to put it. I'm still going to have my hand in it. Hayes writes, this, everyone, isn't going to work. Whipple is a hands-on, demanding teacher who pushes his quarterbacks and coaches them hard and lives through calling plays, something he does very well. Or, as one NFL scout told me, quote, just stand back and let him do his thing. Also, keeping in mind that it's obvious there was a pretty significant disconnect between Whipple's last boss, Pat Narduzzi, and him about the way the offense was run. But, he let Whipple run that offense, and Whipple was going to run
and it was
that
really
offense.
Good.
But
it was a really good offense.
But Hayes' observation is this, everyone, isn't going to work.
Yeah,
and what he's saying is he's not saying Whipple's not going to work,
No.
but Whipple's not going to work with
Frost
meddling.
still has his fingers in the pie.
Right.
That's been the concern the whole time, right?
Yeah.
The entire time. I mean, from the time it was decided, okay, he's going to bring in an offensive coordinator, he's going to give up play calling. The fear the entire time was that he would meddle because he just couldn't let go. And, we hear things from players saying, yeah, he's having a hard time with the transition, having a hard time letting go. And if that's true, and again, we're not in the meetings, we're not in the planning, we're not in that part of it. But if the things that have been said, both from people in his program and this quote comes from him himself, are true, this is very concerning. Him meddling in the offense was my chief concern with this new plan of bringing in a whole new offensive staff and letting somebody else call plays. Because if you're going to let somebody else call plays and he's still meddling, then just let him go down doing the thing he wants to do.
To me, there's a lot of challenges. But maybe the biggest challenge Frost, will have personally is giving up the offense, dare I say, cold turkey, at least to the point where, Whipple doesn't feel like anything's being meddled with.
Yeah.
Knowing that has been his baby, his bread and butter for basically the last decade as an assistant coach or a head coach. But also doing so in a moment where his Nebraska legacy is
his career's
on the line.
His career's on the line.
And even if let's say things go well the first 3 games, for example, things go well the first 3 games, but then the Oklahoma game comes along and something's sputtering.
The first time there is the hint of trouble, that's where you have to look out.
Right. Because it's kind of like, if you give up smoking or if you're dieting or whatever,
then you have a bad day.
And you make it through the first few days. And then all of a sudden, maybe it's a stressful day at work or something happens. And that's the moment where in the past you had to reach for that Marlboro.
Yeah.
That's the big moment. The ability to, no, I can't do that.
That's not how I handle this situation anymore.
To me, that's going to be if it's not the biggest challenge, it's top 2 biggest challenge Scott Frost is going to have this year, is being able to give that up basically cold turkey this season.
And there's a concern there in the way he phrased it as well, of having his hand in it. I would understand if he said, well, I don't know if stepping back is, and maybe we're parsing semantics here and it doesn't matter, but I think it does, because there's been too many indications and too many reports from different people within the program that this might be an issue. If he had said something to the effect of, well, I wouldn't say stepping back, I'm not in control anymore, but obviously I need to be aware of everything that's going on. To me, that's a CEO role, right? He needs to be aware of, hey, how can my offense and defense and special teams work together? Saying, I'm still going to have my hand in it is, hopefully he misspoke, But that's concerning to me.
Could I, kind of playing a little devil's advocate here?
I'm willing to listen.
A little Satan's attorney here. Is it possible that so far, and granted they haven't played a game yet, so it's easy not to call plays when there's not plays to be called. Is it possible that Frost is having a big issue admitting it or speaking about it publicly for whatever reason, ego, control, but in reality, he has, in the words of our speaker yesterday, I forgot his name, the gentleman from Action Network. It's all whips.
Yeah.
It's all whips. Is it possible what we're just hearing that from Frost? Because he doesn't want anyone to
try
know.
to save face.
Yeah, he didn't want anyone to know that he really has given it up, but in reality, he has given it up.
I mean, as concerning as that is for other reasons, that's the better scenario, I think, for Nebraska, is if he's essentially just saying he's still involved when he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, like I said, that brings up a whole host of other issues in that, the ability to admit, like, hey, it wasn't working, me being the offensive coordinator, play caller, and head coach.
Mm-hmm.
I have to focus on my duties as head coach first and foremost. Not being able to just say that and be like, I have full faith in Coach Whipple to take care of the offensive side of things. Not being able to say that is concerning to me for other reasons, but it's a better option than him actually meddling. So I guess that would be a positive boys side of things if that's what's happening. But I would still be a little worried about the overall tenor of the coaching staff and what was going on there if he can't even admit to, hey, I have duties as a head coach. I don't need to be there. Coach Whipple has this handled.
Coming up next, it's our final regular meeting with our Fridee friend. Can it even be Friday without our Fridee friend?
We'll find out next week, I guess.
Chris Basnett, Lincoln Journal-Star, next on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
When you have the tin of popcorn and it has the 4, the cheese, the white, the caramel.
Oh, you're bougie. You went 4. Usually it's 3.
Or is it 3? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's always one that's about 75% gone before any of the others are touched. Which one is it?
Caramel. Cheese.
Mine's caramel. Oh, no.
All 3 are garbage.
Whoa!
Not
Popcorn's
not a
out.
popcorn.
Sharp and Benning in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike Conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Partly cloudy to mostly sunny for your Friday afternoon and very comfortable with highs today into the mid-80s and light winds. As you head into tonight, skies becoming mostly clear with overnight lows in the low to mid-60s. Saturday, mostly sunny with temperatures a little bit warmer into the mid and upper 80s. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
Businesses all across eastern Nebraska and western Iowa have trusted Host Coffee for their coffee, water, and vending needs. Give your business the whole host of options. Host Coffee, serving you since 72.
Heading to a cookout with family or friends? Heading home from a ball game? Or heading no place in particular on a random weekday? All seems like great reasons to head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Hey, it's Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. Ice cream on a hot summer day or night is awesome. And ice cream from Ted and Wally's is even awesomer. Yes, it's a word. You know me, I make them up, but not this time. Cones, cups, pints, quarts, even half gallons to go. Head to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Celebrating more than 35 years, 2 locations, Benson and the Old Market. Visit tedandwallys.com.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power and savings with style. Not to mention top tech to help keep you connected. Plush, premium interiors, and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. With a hybrid or electric vehicle built for every driver. Seriously, dear gas prices? Do you really think you can stand in our way? Think again. Toyota Hybrids. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Corwin Toyota of Bellevue.
Your stomach's doing that I'm hungry thing, but you don't want a burger joint breakfast and you don't have time for a sit-down place. You want a quality breakfast to go brunch fast. Good thing there's Hurrybird. Hurrybird serves up your favorite breakfast and lunch foods fast. From breakfast burritos and avo toast to chicken sandies and grilled cheese to help get you to where you're going. Hurrybird. Next to Early Bird at 38th and Farnham in the Blackstone District. Open every day from 6:30 to 2:30.
Thursday, August 11th is an important date because on that day, you can finally make the leap from just having a job to building a career. The IBEW is hosting a career fair where you can meet and interview with multiple electrical and low voltage contractors, some that are hiring on the spot. Journeyman wage starts at more than $60 per hour with full medical, training, and retirement. Don't miss your shot. It's Thursday, August 11th from 4 to 8 at Embassy Suites Conference Center in La Vista.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
So it's not just in the result, but it's also in how it looks and how it feels.
The 1620. The Zone.
Chris Basnett joining us from the Lincoln Journal-Star, HuskerExtra.com.
Have you ever had a show that you loved to join, held them close to your heart like a commemorative coin? Let me tell you a story of my situation. I used to join the best show in the U.S. nation, but all of a sudden, some young'un came to be and stole all my thunder at 1620. His golf shirt's a dope he wouldn't hesitate to lend. The boys at Unsportsmanlike Conduct told me he was just a friend. You got what I need.
He's just such a natural.
But you say Chris is just a friend. But you say Chris is just a friend. Oh, baby,
I think the sky's the limit.
You got what I need.
I don't know if you learn a lot of these things.
But you say Chris is just a friend. You say Chris is just a friend.
It was perfectly boring.
Oh, God. You didn't have to do this.
This is my fault.
All right. I'm going to start this interview the way that Baz started our first regular interviews by probably swearing, but damn it, I just realized hearing the Baz open, we're not going to hear that anymore.
Which is why I played it one more time.
God, Baz, what are you doing to us?
That I got to be honest, that got me a little more than I thought it would. Here in the open for the last time. I'm a little emotional right now. I'm not even lying to you. That one kind of got me in the feels a little bit.
That is my favorite open.
I'm sitting right here, man. I'm sitting right here.
What do you mean you're sitting?
How'd you feel about the vitamin C?
I could have done without that. I quickly got out of my feelings.
Would you have preferred Green Day?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have preferred neither, probably.
That's fair. Ravi and I were both wrong, and that's what matters.
Well, I mean, congratulations are in order because this is something you were hoping for. It's a promotion. Yes, you're moving to prep sports, but this is in your wheelhouse. This is what you've enjoyed doing. So professionally, this is a good thing for you.
Yeah, it is. It's very good. And the professional side of it certainly is important, and it is a promotion, and it's a chance to, like you say, kind of do something I've always been passionate about, and do something that a lot of us got our start doing when we got into sports journalism. I'm super excited about that. But more importantly, it's going to be better for me personally. I became a first-time father a couple of years ago at the age of 41. So I became a father later in life than a lot of people. And I very quickly realized that I wanted to be around to watch my son grow up. And that was just really important to me, and it's something that I had kind of looked into doing for a while. and sorry, something I'd looked into doing for a while, and just really lucky to get the opportunity. So yeah, it's a good move professionally, yeah, but personally, it's way more important.
Do you want to say a swear word or something to break you out?
God damn, yes.
There it is. We knew it. If you weren't with us,
Wait. Give me a few seconds.
No, we won't do it again. I promise. But I'm trying to remember how many years we've been doing this. But I think it was the very first interview. You dropped the GD.
I remember it vividly. I was driving down the street in my car. Yeah, and I let one rip. I think I was actually going to football practice, and yeah, I let a GD fly, and boy, that caused a firestorm there at 1620.
So, Baz, let me ask you.
Well, it woke Stibbs up. That's the first thing it did.
That's important, just to get Stibbs to actually do some work. No, so I want to ask you. I know that obviously this was a big personal decision for you, but from the professional standpoint, I know just from some of your comments on Twitter and everything that like you do have a passion for the prep sports beat and stuff like that. What about that coverage means so much to you on the prep side?
It's a couple different things. One, I grew up in a small town. I'm from Ravenna, Nebraska. For those who don't know, a few hours west of Omaha, and it's prep sports are big anywhere, right? But especially in smaller towns, they're just such a big deal. And my dad was a coach. He was an assistant coach on some of Ravenna's really good basketball teams. 10 years ago or so, 15 years ago. So I always grew up around sports, grew up playing sports and very quickly found out I wasn't going to be a good enough athlete to be a star in any sports. So just something, it sounds like a cliche, but I swear to God, it's true. I woke up one day, shortly before I started college, and I said, you know what? I think it'd be cool to cover sports, whether that's for, a newspaper, for TV, whatever it was. And I'm dead serious when I say this. All I ever wanted to do when I was younger, when I was going from high school to college, was cover high school sports. And I got that opportunity at the Kearney Hub newspaper. Big thanks to Buck Mahoney for giving me that chance, and just fell in love with it. I love the passion of it. I love the excitement of it, and that's not to say I don't love the passion and excitement of college sports, of college football, of college basketball, college baseball, but there's just something about, Friday nights that I'm kind of a hopeless romantic about. And I just have always loved that atmosphere. I've loved the feelings you get from a high school game. I've loved the feelings you get, seeing a school or seeing a community rally around a team, whether it's football or basketball or anything. That's just something that, even as I transitioned and worked in Missouri for a few years covering sports, and then moved back here and started working for the Journal-Star, that's just something that always stuck with me. And it was in the back of my mind, even as I was covering the Huskers, it was always in the back of my mind where if I got an opportunity, I might consider going back. And like we talked about, so I had some life changes, and this opportunity presented itself in the last few months. And I thought, man, it was almost like hitting the lottery. And so it's just that passion, that it's that feeling of community pride, of school pride, of how big Friday nights are, or Saturday nights in basketball or whatever. And so that's just something that's really always stuck with me. So I'm just really excited to kind of be a more regular part of that again.
Well, now that you get to leave the Husker beat, that means you can just let it rip. You can just say whatever the heck you want.
Oh, so. I got a whole list of people I need to call out.
I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about them.
It's the empty the notebook piece.
You can just let me go for a while.
So on that note, the controversy of the week has been the Frost demeanor on Tuesday. Are folks making too much of it?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Chris, good today. See you. We'll see you. Goodbye. No, just kidding.
Yeah, great talking to you guys. No, yeah. If you've been to a media days thing, there's moments like that every year, and whether it's the opening statement or whether it's a coach standing up there waiting for questions and no question, I've seen that happen a few times. So because it's Scott Frost and because it's Nebraska, it probably got blown up a little bit more than normal, I think. So if you want to read into it and see if there's any symbolism there, that's fine. And maybe there is, but we won't know that until the season plays out. It's tough to, I think, draw a line from that to how Nebraska is going to perform this season. So, we'll find not a huge deal because there's awkward moments like that all the time with those things. But again, if the season ends up going poorly, maybe that's something that you look back to and say, hey, we saw the signs back in July.
Baz, at the same time, and I agree that it's largely overblown, especially the opening statement part of it. Isn't it a really easy thing to do to not have it be an issue? Just give a couple sentences at the top. I mean, it seems like a really easy thing to avoid any of this.
Yeah, it is. And look, if you're a college head coach, it doesn't matter if you're the coach at Nebraska or if you're the coach at Louisiana Monroe, just get there and make it. You know what you're getting into. You're at an event called Media Days. Just come up with something to say. It doesn't need to be hard or complicated. Boy, this is really talking about Nebraska football, isn't it? They're making it more complicated than they need to. So maybe there is a parallel there. Now that I kind of verbal, but no, look, yeah, that's part of being a college head coach. Like, you have to be able to deal with those situations. And look, not everybody's going to be, William Shakespeare when it comes to that. But yeah, after what we just talked about, at the same time, you've done this before. If you're Scott Frost, you know how these things work. Just get up there and give it, say a couple things, thank the AD, thank everybody for coming, and move on. That's all it had to be.
Do you have, we're not going to get into this really until later in the month of August, but do you have a season prediction in mind? Would you like to be the first to set the bar for everybody?
Yeah. I'll actually have a season prediction in our Husker football season preview special section that's coming out here in a few weeks. I'll give you 8-5. How about that? And I think they start strong. Now, again,
so you're counting a bowl game here. Yep.
We have a positive point here.
And look, we've talked before about how records can be deceiving, right? I think they start strong, but I don't know if they get over the hump of Iowa, Wisconsin, Minnesota at the end of the year. I think you could see a skid there. And then I think things, it could get. I'll give you a bowl game prediction. They lose to Kansas State down in Phoenix and Adrian Martinez to end the season. And so if you want interesting, I think that's interesting. Nebraska, let's say they win 8 games, but they really slide at the end of the season and they lose to their old quarterback in the bowl game. And then we'll see what the offseason looks like after that.
Here we gave you a chance to just absolutely dump on everything because you don't have to worry about it, and you're still positive. So that's.
Although I will say, losing to Adrian Martinez,
thought they were going to have a losing streak to end the season.
losing to Adrian Martinez in the bowl game would be peak drama for the offseason.
It'd be incredible. And I don't. And now that I don't have to cover it, I'm kind of rooting for it.
I was going to say Baz is going to come back to the beat just for that.
Yeah, I'll be calling in the second the bowl game ends to get on the radio with you guys.
I hear you. Well, we won't say goodbye because you're still going to be in sports, and occasionally we're gonna have to sneak in a little more prep sports than we have typically done, just so we can A, have an excuse to play the Open again, and B, have an excuse to call you while you're freezing your tuchus off, covering some, late November playoff game where there's no press box.
Norris on November 13th, and I have to stand outside.
Those steel bleachers are unkind to your bum.
What we should do here, and here's an idea. Now I can't do this because you got to make the assignments, but we always have the annual Omaha Roncalli experience where we go to the world's best concession stand. We maybe need to figure out a way so you could come cover the game and join us at the concession stand.
Okay. Yeah, let's get the wheels turning on that.
You've got to try the Roncalli concession stand. It's the absolute best in the
cheese
state.
balls are the best.
Yeah, it's the best in the state. All right. Well, again, this is not goodbye. We'll just say so long for now, GD it.
Guys, I love you. Seriously, I love you guys. I never thought I'd get a theme song on the radio. So I thank you for that. It's been super cool to talk to you guys for these last few years, and super cool to hear my open, even if it is Sipple who's singing it or rapping it or whatever you want to call that. So thanks for giving this old farm kid a pretty cool opportunity the last few years.
Hey, listen, it's been our pleasure, and you've been fantastic. That's why we call you our Fridee friend, because we always have a great time with you, and we can talk about a little bit of anything, and his golf shirts are still dope. Chris Basnett,
and they will
ladies and
continue
gentlemen.
to stay go.
Yes, they will. Chris Basnett, now assistant editor and prep sports for the Lincoln Journal-Star. Baz, take care, my friend. Take care of that kid, and be a good dad.
But that's why I took this job. So thanks, fellas.
You
Appreciate
bet.
the time.
Chris Basnett, ladies and gentlemen, of the Lincoln Journal-Star. He'll be back. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk to him.
He's not, in the words of Larry Bird, he's not dead. We're going to take a pause, come back. Kyler Murray's contract.
Oh, I can't wait.
We'll actually hear what Kyler said yesterday before everything went down, and there is an update on it as well. We'll get to all of that next, and then it's Kent's Movie Club, The Princess Bride.
Great movie.
Coming up in the movie club, so stay right there. Got a lot to come on a One Beer Friday, 1620 The Zone.
The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Hey friends, Kent Pavelka here, back with John Higgins and the Rooferees at the Weather Guard showroom. I imagine there are a lot of people out there with really bad roofs waiting for the magic moment. When's the magic moment?
Depends on what type of roof you have. It depends on how old your roof is. I have a customer right now talking about waiting for that hailstorm. Now it's leaking. There's a time where you can't wait for that hailstorm forever.
When it comes time to replace your roof, your gutters, and siding, there's only one call to make. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Heading to a cookout with family or friends, heading home from a ball game, or heading no place in particular on a random weekday, all seems like great reasons to head over to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Hey, it's Damon Benning from Sharp and Benning in the Morning. Ice cream on a hot summer day or night is awesome. And ice cream from Ted and Wally's is even awesomer. Yes, it's a word. You know me, I make them up, but not this time. Cones, cups, pints, quarts, even half gallons to go. Head to Ted and Wally's Ultra Premium Ice Cream. Celebrating more than 35 years, 2 locations, Benson and the Old Market. Visit tedandwallys.com.
Woodhouse Mazda and Woodhouse Place Mazda are the Omaha Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers, conveniently located in Bellevue or in Millard off 144th and Giles Road. You can shop, finance, and buy your next Mazda SUV or sedan your way. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you to your next vehicle, and our full service department is there for you when your vehicle needs maintenance. Visit us at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com to learn more.
You can feel it. There's a new kind of energy. It's Maverick Energy. Be a part of the new energy as the Omaha Mavericks run through the 2022-23 sports seasons. Hockey, basketball, volleyball, baseball, and more. Big energy, big games. Maverick season tickets for every sport you follow are available now. Get yours by visiting the Baxter Arena box office, calling 402-554-MAVS, or clicking omavs.com/tickets. Feel the energy. Maverick Energy.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Car repair is car repair. Most places you go can change your oil or fix your brakes. The difference is the experience you'll get at Omaha Car Care. We're part of the community. We were born here. and we believe that our relationship with you should be built to last. We're going to consult you, not sell you. We're going to give you a free loaner car. We're going to treat you like a valued friend that we want to continue to see in the years to come. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Well, the ongoing saga of Kyler Murray's contract, which included language that required him to study 4 hours of study every week.
Which does not seem like a lot.
It doesn't, but that's the way it is. And it was actually written into the contract. Well, yesterday, Murray held an impromptu press conference. It was not expected that he was going to speak, but he showed up, and here is a little bit of what he had to say today or yesterday regarding the clause in his contract.
To think that I can accomplish everything that I've accomplished in my career and not be a student of the game and not have that passion and not take this serious is almost, it's disrespectful, and it's almost a joke, you know. It's, to me, it's I'm flattered. You know, I'm honestly flattered that y'all think that at my size I can go out there and not prepare for the game and not not take it serious. It's disrespectful, I feel like, to my peers, to all the great athletes and great players that are in this league. This game's too hard.
So, Kyler, why did you agree to the contract as it was written?
Because it was in the contract. They found it while looking for something else. And then he agreed to it, correct? That's the order of events that we're aware of?
I believe so, but whatever it is, before you sign anything, you've discussed, or at least your agent has discussed everything that's in there. And so if there's something new in there that wasn't in previously, like in his old deal,
which is what
that would have been discussed. So it would have been on the table. It wouldn't have been something I can't imagine, but knowing the Cardinal franchise, maybe it was something they snuck in and no one discovered it.
Sounds like it was something they snuck in, and when his agents were going over it, they found it. Like, it doesn't seem like it was something discussed prior to being put in the contract. I'm sure there was a discussion after they found it. That's my understanding of what happened, and I could be wrong, but it seems like
that is idiotic. That's idiotic by the Cardinal organization, yes. And it is but irresponsible and also poor, on the agent's part. I mean, that would have been something where, as you get the final copy back and it is time to be signed, you go over it again.
Right, which I think they did or didn't do, or they agreed to it with it in there. That's one of those.
Again, but as an agent, you're not letting your client sign anything until you know everything that's in there. So whatever the timing of the events are, I can't imagine it would have been something like, well, here's your final contract. Then they slipped it in and no one looked at it. You don't let your client sign anything until you know exactly everything that's in there.
I think we're saying the same thing. I think one of two things happened here. Either they didn't find the clause until after the contract was agreed to, which is negligence on the agent's part.
Right.
Or they found it before it was agreed to and they agreed to it.
Right.
So one of those things I think has to be true.
Either way, it's bad.
It's a bad look either way. It's
for both sides. I mean, it's bad on the Cardinals for wanting it to be in there in the first place, or if they really thought it was necessary to put it in there, then what kind of a quarterback are you signing? And it's bad on the other side for agreeing to it in the form that they did.
And I do want to bring up, Damon brought up a good point this morning, and listening to those comments again, I can kind of hear what he was talking about. For a long time in the league and in all levels of football, the reason that was given as to why black players couldn't be quarterbacks was because they weren't intellectual enough to handle it.
Right.
And Damon said he felt like Kyler was speaking for more than just himself.
Mm.
And you can kind of hear it in that audio.
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me that wants to acknowledge that, just to say, if that's what's going on here on the Cardinals' part, and there is no reason, like if Kyler's been
like they had no idea, they had no reason to put it in.
Yes, if Kyler has given them no reason to believe he's not studying enough, and it still made it in there, that's horrendous in a whole different way.
Oh, absolutely.
I still think there is a possibility that maybe Kyler was watching film. Maybe they wanted him to watch it with a coach. Like there's factors there where I could
watch more of it. I don't
Sure.
know.
There's factors there where maybe they weren't sure on the amount of prep he was doing. But if they had no reason to put it in there and it still made it in this contract, then the Cardinals have a whole different problem than the one that we've been talking about. And I just wanted to acknowledge that because I thought Damon brought up a good point. And with, this being the home of Marlon Briscoe, the first black quarterback in the NFL, it reminds you that there is an enormous history of franchises looking at black athletes in this game and saying, you're not smart enough to be the quarterback. And I think when you listen to some of Kyler Murray's comments, I think there's some of that baked into what he was saying.
That's a damning look. If there's any
of that
truth,
yes,
that's a damning look for that franchise. A damning look.
The thing that we know for sure is this is pretty damning for someone involved here.
Absolutely.
It's either for the Cardinals because they put something that had no business being in a contract, or Kyler because it did have business being in the contract and they felt they had to put it in here.
Right.
Or the agent because he didn't catch it in the first place, or maybe he did and let his client agree to it anyway. One way or another, someone, and I don't know if we'll ever figure out who, but this is an awful look for someone.
Right. In the moment right now, nobody is looking good in this.
Yes, it
in
looks
the moment
bad for
right
everyone.
Now. And that's the other problem with this story, and we can maybe touch on it a little bit more when we get done with Movie Club. But one of the other problems with this story is there's still going to be people looking into this, some of which for the reasons you just stated.
Yeah.
Because if there is any potential improprieties of just doing this because of who Kyler Murray is and where he comes from.
Yeah, and just what he looks like.
Right. But
if there's even a whiff
at some
of that,
point you have to flesh all of this out.
Yeah.
Because Kyler Murray, if he feels he's truly been wronged, he's going to want to know because he's got a reputation to defend. His agent, who again, and it's hard to see him coming out good in any of this because again, you don't put anything in front of your client until you've gone through it like with a fine tooth comb.
Okay with them signing
and you're
it
okay
as
with
is.
him, yes.
Yeah.
So either way, he's going to come out looking bad. But the Cardinals certainly look bad, either for insisting it in the first place or even having the temerity to put it in there.
But so much worse if they didn't have the merit to put it in there.
Correct.
It's certainly a more complicated situation than I gave it credit for in the first place. And as I said, Damon was the first person I heard talk about that, so I want to give credit there. But it is, I don't know how anyone comes out of this looking good.
By the way, the Cardinals said last night they were removing the change, but so far, and this is according to Pro Football Talk about 15 minutes ago, the contract, anytime contracts get signed, they get sent to the internal databases of both the NFL and the Players Association. As of about 15 minutes ago, the original contract is still there.
Okay.
So
it hasn't been changed
the
yet.
altered contract has not been there. And maybe it's just a deal where
it probably takes some time.
Well, yeah, Murray got to go back and basically re-sign another contract.
Well, and
without that clause.
And you have to imagine his agent and team or whatever are going to go through that even more. So it's going to take a minute to get.
It is.
It's not like you're going to give the Cardinals the benefit of the doubt at this point to be like,
probably not.
I trust you what's in there.
Probably not.
It's not like when you sign up for your cell phone plan and you're like, whatever, I'm just signing it. Like, you're going to read the fine print here.
And honestly, it could be a deal where Murray is asking somebody else beyond just his agent to look at it too.
Yeah, I mean,
at
maybe
this point he might not be trusting his agent.
Maybe you bring in an additional lawyer just to make sure. I mean, it's not crazy to me.
Coming up next, Kent's Movie Club, The Princess Bride on 1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, we've got a crash on eastbound Douglas at 13th, a crash on northbound 680 at Fort Street, blocking the right shoulder. An accident with injuries on northbound 78th Street at Crown Point Ave is causing delays through there. We've got a stall on westbound West Center Road just before 90th with the center lane blocked, causing significant delays through there. And then the roadwork causing lane restrictions on Industrial Road, causing slow going between 144th and 165th. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Broncos Hamburgers.
Broncos would like to introduce you to the big SOB. Sauteed onion burger, triple all beef patty, triple cheese, sauteed onion, double bacon, mustard pickle on a fresh toasted bun. Thank you, Broncos. Broncos, where quality rides.
Email Sharpen Betting on the Equitable Bank inbox with whatever's on your mind. The Zone inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. You can get me at Gary at 1620thezone.com. We want to hear from you on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Text radio to 64,000 to try Babbel for free. That's radio to 64,000. RADIO to 64,000.
Yeah, it's Coach Ice-T. Who's ready to spin? We're starting with a big hill. Let's ride.
Why is Ice-T leading our spin class?
Oh, it's probably the Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
That's right, Buzz. Now, spinners, really pour your heart into it and pick it up.
Learn more by picking up a box of Cheerios and check out our Pour Your Heart Into It audio workouts with Ice-T and Buzz to get your heart pumping.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
402-205-4960. That's 402-205-4960. QC Kinetics. 402-205-4960.
Hey y'all, this is your girl Cheryl Underwood, and I want to tell you something. My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I feel great. That's because I increased my fiber intake with the Metamucil 2-week challenge, and I'm still hooked. I just took Metamucil every day for 14 days, and it's really that easy. Metamucil traps and removes the waste that weighs you down, so you feel lighter and more energetic. Now I never want to go back to that heavy feeling. Are you ready for the Metamucil 2-week challenge? For a coupon and daily support, sign up at Metamucil.com today.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
Friday, the final day of the week. These are the voyages of the program Unsportsmanlike Conduct. Its ongoing mission: to explore strange new movies, to seek out new bits and new edifications, to boldly go where no radio program has gone before.
Elkent's Movie Club. It's Elkent's Movie Club. Elkent's Movie Club. It's Elkent's Movie Club.
And we are off and running with
Too
another movie
accurate,
club.
John. You can't just come after me like that.
That was kind of easy, you know. You are a farm boy.
I want to know how you know what I've said to my exes. Not fair.
As you wish. Kent, how you doing?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are you?
Doing fantastic. This was a movie, as you have said, and as a guy who has seen, I almost want to say hundreds of thousands of movies, but I don't know if it's physically possible to watch hundreds of thousands of movies, but definitely thousands of movies. This is one you have seen many, many, many times. The Princess Bride.
Yes.
Kent, how many movies do you think you've seen in your life?
How many movies have I seen?
If you had to guesstimate?
Oh, 6,000-7,000.
Okay. Are you trying to get to 10? You try and get to 10,000?
I don't, you don't, when you do what I do, you don't have to try real hard at that.
It just kind of happens that way.
Fair enough.
Well,
fair
you
enough.
know, I would say I average about 250 to 300 a year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Man, that's almost one a day.
That's getting after it.
Well,
That
you
is-
know, it's usually 4 or 5 a week, and there you go.
Yep.
That's how math works.
Well, Princess Bride, 1987. This was a Nick pick.
Nice.
One of the earlier films of the Rob Reiner directorial era.
Mm-hmm.
He had a couple ahead of that, including Spinal Tap. And Spinal Tap was his first one, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, so Spinal Tap was the first one. And apparently this was a movie that others had tried to bring to the screen a few times before, but could never get anyone to sign off on it. Is that correct?
Yes. William Goldman sold the screen rights for this, like, I believe almost 10 years before Reiner got it made. And several people tried, and part of it was nobody wanted to pay for this because it was so odd, right? It's not a straight up fairy tale, and it's not a straight up comedy, right? It's this, I mean, what Reiner did, and William Goldman actually wrote or co-wrote the script. I didn't remember to look when the credit went by, but they either wrote it together or he wrote it himself. But this is a little bit like Spinal Tap in a way, because it plays like Spinal Tap played like a real documentary, but it was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
This one plays like a fairy tale - fantasy picture, which those things were hot in the 80s. Like Legend was one of those movies. Yep. There were 4 or 5 of them that came out right about the same time. This one fits in that sensibility, but then they go for the laughs rather than the romance or the fantasy part of it or whatever. And I think that's the reason that, once again, much like Spinal Tap, this thing was not a huge hit when it came out. It did okay, but it wasn't a huge hit. And now it's, it's become, quote, a cult classic and whatever. And it's on the National Registry of Films for preservation and all of that. And I think it's the same reason as for Spinal Tap. It was just a little too off center when it hit the theater, so people didn't go out and see it. And then once they saw it on at home, and this is one that that really exploded in the videotape era, right? The back pre-DVD.
Yeah, I was going to ask where it became, because you mentioned, I'm trying to remember the last film we had that had, that was the cult thing, but it was because of all the plays on Comedy Central, I think.
Right.
Office Space?
Office Space. Thank you.
Yeah.
But this was more a blockbuster, go rent it.
Yep. This
Sensation.
was Blockbuster and, all the little hometown video stores, because once people saw it, they went, oh, this is really good. And it spread word of mouth.
Word of mouths.
Words.
of mouths, right?
Yes.
Many
I'm
words
losing control of the English language here.
Yeah.
And it was if you think about it, what is this, 87 movie? I think
1987.
87.
And so it would have come out on home viewing on the video in 88, probably. Well, 88 was prime VHS time.
Be kind, rewind.
Yes, it was. Because by 1987, I don't know what the saturation was, but a lot of people had VHS players by that
My
point.
first viewing of this was, I believe, a Blockbuster rental. I don't remember if it was VHS or DVD, but it was this exactly what Ken is just
right. But it was a rental either way.
It was a rental. My brother and I used to go to either Blockbuster or Hollywood Video basically every weekend and get a couple movies, and like that was the thing that we did. We just watched a couple movies together that weekend, and this was one of them. I had never heard of it. And he was like, yeah, I heard this was good. Let's get it. And that's how I watched it the first time.
Well, Nick, this was your pick. So opening thoughts on that. And whatever plot we need to get to. I mean, I'm sure most people have seen it.
This is the first viewing for both of you, right?
Yes.
Not me.
Okay.
This was my first viewing.
Okay.
I saw it for the first time like a year and a half ago.
Okay. It was Josh hadn't seen it either, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had not seen
But he claims he was going to watch it anyway. So
allegedly.
I just really like this movie. I'm not going to bother going into the plot. It's a parody of a fairy tale.
It's almost a satire of a fairy tale.
It's a satire of a family or fairy tale. And it was originally written, because it was a book first, in 1973. Then the rights got sold. And it's what I really like the most about this movie is it's very funny, but also very heartfelt about it. The comedy, there's some of it where it's really blatant about what they're doing. And then there's other more subtle comedy that they sneak in, like, oh, we'll be safe in the fire swamps. And they're just so casual about all of it. It's always so deadpan and straight. But then the parts that are kind of lovey-dovey, cute and sweet are actually kind of cute and sweet. They found a way to really just blend it together in a really good way.
You mock my pain.
And also, Ken, you could tell me this, or maybe I'm just being a zoomer seeing things.
Probably.
So when Humperdinck, when he's first talking to the people and he's on the tower, the way he talks and the way everything looks, the aesthetic of everything, is that what they based Farquaad from Shrek off of? Was that Humperdinck?
I would say yes. I've seen, I don't know if it's entirely that, but yes.
Like the way he talks, like it sounds exactly like what was it, John
Lithgow?
Yeah, John Lithgow.
Yes.
I feel like
And
John
I'm
Lithgow
sure-
used that
and
as
that would, yes, I would say yes on that, because this was really, I mean, if you look at, I don't know if influential is the right word, but it certainly set up a kind of tone and approach for a lot of other movies,
Mhm.
and I would say they easily could have lifted that for Shrek, because like, and this is kind of an odd example to pick, but Billy Crystal and Carol Kane, who play Mr. and Mrs. Wizard or whatever their real names.
Magic Max.
Magic Max, yes.
Miracle Max.
Miracle
Max.
Yeah.
Just using Michael's
their scenes are entirely improvised.
Really?
Yeah.
Which does not shock me in the least.
I love that.
That's funny. That's a great scene.
But it's improvised within the scripted movie. So the movie's scripted up until you get to their scenes, and then Reiner said, "Oh, go ahead and improvise this," because they Okay, I'm getting some of this, by the way. If you really want to read a interesting, entertaining book, Carrie Elwes, I guess is how you say his last
Carrie
name.
Elwes, yeah.
Wrote a book called As You Wish.
Oh, nice.
And it's the behind the scenes story of The Princess Bride, and he talked to pretty much everybody that was in it. It's really an entertaining book. It came out maybe 8-9 years ago, and in there he talks about how this movie was filmed in England, right?
Yes.
Well, Carol Kane and Billy Crystal stayed in New York until it was time to shoot their scenes, because they're only in it for 7-8 minutes, right?
Yeah, tops.
So they didn't go spend 3 months in England. They stayed at home, and they together cooked up this whole backstory about their characters and made all this stuff up. And so Reiner just said, all right, go with it, And so you see that a lot now in movies, where you'll see a scripted part and then it kind of goes straight improv and then back to the scripted part. That's one of the things that, at least for me remembering, this is one of the first movies that did that.
You mentioned Carrie Elwes, who started. He was the first person cast, but this was the breakout for Robin Wright, who actually was not intended to be in the film, but late in the casting process, she kind of showed up, and the way it's recalled is when Rob Reiner opened the door when she arrived, it was like there was like a halo around her head. She just was dressed perfectly. She just looked the part. And they looked across the room. He and the other casting director looked across the room at each other and said, yep, this is it. This is what we need right here. And that kind of sent Robin Wright off into a new stratosphere.
And yes, and this was by far the biggest movie that Carrie Elwes ever did. Although he did sort of reprise this kind of picture with the Mel Brooks Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Exactly.
Maybe 6-7 years later.
Yeah, in fact, as someone who had watched it for the first time but had remembered the Robin Hood, it was at times I thought I was watching Robin Hood Men in Tights, because obviously it's kind of similar type swashbuckling thing. But
yeah, it's got a Mel Brooksy vibe to it.
It does,
yeah,
with not as much of the actual slapstick.
Yeah, there's less absurdity. It's like a toned down version, but it's kind of in that same realm of type of movie.
This was also it wasn't his debut on the big screen, the biggest man in the film, but Andre the Giant, who plays Fezzik. That was the guy they originally wanted, but he was under contract with Vince McMahon, R.I.P. Well, he's not dead, but
he didn't die yet.
He's out of a job. It was a twist of fate that a match he was supposed to be in Japan, that he was going to pay him big money and pay the WWF big money, got canceled, and that opened the door back up for him to get this part. And apparently, as the story goes, this was one of the more enjoyable experiences of Andre's entire career, because when he was on set, people didn't treat him as this 7'4" freak of nature. They kind of just treated him as an everyday person, which is something when you're overly big like Andre, you dream of. And as the story goes, Andre was so proud of what he did in this. He would share copies of the movie on VHS with the boys in the locker room, because he was really proud of what he had done. The other irony of this is, they shoot this in 86. When he comes back, that's when he makes the big heel turn, and the Hulk Hogan match happens in WrestleMania 3. So this is really his last act as the face, as the good guy, because right after he got back from shooting is when they did the angle where he turns on Hulk Hogan.
Now what I want to know is why you don't already have him as a drop. My way is very unsportsmanlike.
You know,
fair.
that's a
fair.
great
I
point.
need to grab that.
That's a great point. We need to get that one.
I think
he's got some of the best lines in the movie.
He does. And I'll tell you, you know, he's always been difficult to understand just because of, you know, he's French.
Yeah, the accent.
And the accent and the English isn't great, but I thought, whether it's done in overdub or whatever the case may be, but it was good that, you know, you could understand
it was much clearer than a lot of his roles. Honestly, this was my introduction to Andre the Giant. Like, I knew he existed,
right?
But this was the first thing. I didn't watch wrestling really that much at all, but especially when he was big in it, I was too young for that. This is the first thing I ever saw him in was The Princess Bride, just this hilarious giant. And honestly, some of his lines are the most memorable of the movie for me. The rhyming with him and Inigo Montoya is my favorite thing. Anybody want a peanut? It's like one of my favorite things.
I love the banter in this movie so much. Like, it's so good. When Inigo Montoya, he's got the rope down and Wesley's climbing. He's like, why would I take the rope if you're trying to kill me? He's like, that does kind of put a damper on our relationship, doesn't it? It's just also casually done. Like,
yes,
they'll say stuff or like the line about the rodent, and they're like, no, it's not that. But they never think twice about the ridiculous things that they said because it's totally normal to them. And I just love that sort of dry deadpan humor.
And this is one of the great quotable movies.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah,
you know, that it can. I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father.
Do you have 6 fingers? You start all your conversations like that?
I use that word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I wanted to ask you, this might be a little off the beaten path, but, you know, the credits start to roll. And the song Storybook Love, which is the theme, plays. And of course, the reason why I stuck with the credits a little longer than I normally do is I saw that Mark Knopfler, the lead singer of...
He did the soundtrack. Yep.
Yeah, the lead singer of Dire Straits did the soundtrack. Oh, this is interesting. And then I hear him. So this song is playing, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to listen to this song. It was nominated for Best Original Song, but the lyrics in this song are awful.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm like,
absolutely.
This is meant to be, because I'll just read you some of the lyrics. My love is like a storybook story, but it's as real as the feelings I feel. My love is like a storybook story, but it's as real as the feelings I feel. And there's so many times where words are being repeated, which is, it's just, I'm listening to this going, God, this is awful.
Which had to be intentional, right?
And so I'm hoping it was intentional.
Because it had the same sound as a lot of those other ballads that were serious that were coming out.
Exactly. So I'm guessing it was intentionally done to be ironic.
To make fun of that kind of song.
Okay.
In a movie that made fun of the romantic fairy tale, you know?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it was intentional. No question, it was intentional.
Yeah, honestly, I got as much of a laugh out of that as I did anything else, because as I'm just sitting there listening, I'm going, my God, this is terrible.
Ken, I do have a question for you. So the B plot, technical A plot with the grandfather and the sick kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is a bad thing to say. I wonder sometimes what the movie would be like if that wasn't included and if they just played it as a straight up like fantasy parody. Do you think that adds anything important?
Yes, I think it makes the framework makes the movie work.
Okay.
Because if they'd have come out and just did it as, here's this fantasy movie that's funny, it wouldn't have had that. It gives you a resonance for it, but it also gives you the narrator.
We weren't quite ready for the Knight's Tale yet.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So you've got the narrator who, you know, he's not in there a lot, but when Peter Falk's voice comes in, it reminds you that this is somebody reading a story to his grandson. Mm-hmm. Right. And it gives that movie the context that lets it be kind of crazy and funny rather than a serious movie or a total comedy. that's what allows the movie to work the way it does. And the other thing that it is it's an overt acknowledgement that this movie came from a book.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Right.
as someone who appreciates, 1970s TV dramas or TV detective stories, I like seeing Peter Falk.
You like seeing Columbo as
I like seeing
grandpa?
Columbo.
You can't go wrong with Columbo.
And by the way,
That's
the
fair.
terrible makeup. I mean, the salt and pepper hair and the fake mustache. It's another one of those subtle things.
Just one more thing.
Yeah, it's just one of those subtle things where you're like, wow, this is not good costume right here.
And that's little Fred Savage,
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was, what was he? Probably 5.
I bet he
I would
was
say
7.
closer to 10.
7.
Maybe.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
8, but
Yeah.
yeah.
He always looked a
Either
little
way.
younger than he
That's fair.
played at times.
He's got the baby face.
And I did have a mark out moment. He had the Cubs pennant in the background. I had that exact same Cubs pennant in 1987.
Then he had another New Mexico. He had a New Mexico pennant. A kid needs to pick a team. He needs to pick a region at least. There was like a New Mexico pennant, like on the other side.
Probably
of the
a
wall.
vacation pennant.
Oh, okay.
Probably on vacation. In
Yeah, that's
vacation
like
pennant.
I
it's
was
like
going
a
to say it
postcard
can't
for
be a
sports fans.
sports pennant. I mean,
Yeah.
does a New Mexico fan exist in anything?
It's he's a big Aggies fan.
Or Lobos fan.
Or Lobos.
We
Don't
know
forget the
which one.
Lobos.
We don't forget which one. Well, that's The Princess Bride is on Disney Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Terrific movie.
I enjoyed it first time, seeing it again. I guess I never, Kent, you said you've seen it many times and the wife will stop on it. I never see it, or I've never seen it on television or stopped on it. So we must watch different channels.
Well, it used to play a lot on the TNT type networks before Fox reeled all their movies back in. And then it was on HBO a lot, so, and now it's always on Disney, I guess.
Always on Disney. Yeah. And it is, because Disney bought out the Fox library. So it's now permanently ensconced, we would assume, on Disney Plus.
I think before we wrap up, so I've been talking with Ravi and a few other people how I think this is one of the perfect movies to watch with your significant other, because it kind of covers the basis for both the dynamics and the relationship, because it has the heartfelt story that is genuine, but then it's also got the comedy parts. And I think it's just a great combination that everybody can appreciate. And I think that's part of the reason it works so well.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, I don't know that I'm trying to remember. I think I've probably watched this with a significant other at some point, but as I said, the first time I watched it was with my brother. I've watched it by myself several times. Like I've probably seen this movie 20 times, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I never think about it in the context of a significant other movie, but I could definitely see how it would work for that.
Sure.
Well, I told you too. A lot of my friends have said that their girlfrions love this movie. And
Oh, I
they like
think
to
a
watch
lot.
it with
I think
them.
it's most people love this.
It's a
movie.
great
Yeah.
movie. It's a great
in general. Yeah.
They do a really good job. All
I
right.
did forget one goofy thing that was in the Carrie Elwes book. For some reason, Rob Reiner made him and who else? Kevin Kline learn to fence with both hands.
Oh, that is really cool.
Why?
Left-handed and right-handed.
Interesting.
So that it could be like an authentic scene. Is that what?
Apparently, I don't know.
I
He
love
was
that.
like, it's hard enough to do. Right, he's right-handed. He's like, it's hard enough to figure that out doing it right-handed, but it's impossible to do it with your non-dominant hand.
All right. Interesting. So there it is, The Princess Bride, this week's selection. Josh has the pick. He sent it to me the other day. Another movie he hasn't seen. He's never seen, Unforgiven, with Clint Eastwood. Streaming on HBO Max, Academy Award winner, Unforgiven.
Maybe he'll go up this time.
Maybe he will.
Let's just say that the tone is going to go from very light to extremely dark.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome.
Yep. This is very different. Very different. But it's one of my favorite Eastwood films.
I've never seen this one.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite ones. And speaking of drops, it's given us the drop from Gene Hackman. You know,
also one of the best lines of all time in this movie too.
I found out I was in Nebraska.
Oh, that's not the one I was thinking.
That's the
You just like that because you're from Nebraska.
Well, you'll find out when you watch the film what he's referring.
Good.
Yes. And strap yourself in. Let's just put it that way.
Yep.
This is not your typical Western.
Nope.
Awesome.
But I think it's a reason. We'll get into it next week why it won an Academy Award.
That's absolutely the reason why it won an Academy Award.
Kent, have a great weekend. We appreciate it as always. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Sounds great. See you next
There
week.
he is. Kent Wolgamott of the Lincoln Journal-Star in the movie club. Next week, Unforgiven. Also Morgan Freeman, Gene Hackman, Richard Harris. It's a loaded cast.
That's a stacked cast.
It's a loaded cast.
It is a loaded cast.
It is a loaded cast. J-Tech Construction wants to give you a solar summer. You could win a solar system for your home worth up to $10,000. J-Tech Construction Solar Summer Sweepstakes. Get all the details and enter to win today at 1620thezone.com.
The Connor Happer Show.
Back to the potato breeding. Potato breeding is done through sexual reproduction, i.e. pollinating flowers to produce berries which contain true seeds. Normally, when you plant potatoes, you propagate them from tubers, confusingly called seed potatoes, but which are not actually seeds, but root cuttings. You can't cross tubers.
Of course. Yeah, crossing tubes is strictly frowned upon.
Yeah, we all learned that from Ghostbusters. And there's your show promo.
The Connor Happer Show. Weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Cloud coverage will be on a decrease throughout the evening and overnight as temperatures eventually cool into the lower 60s around daybreak Saturday. A little bit more the same for your Saturday afternoon. We're tracking milder temperatures, a high temperature of 89 degrees with mostly sunny skies. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, we're getting reports that Platteview Road is closed for both directions between 36th and the JFK because of a crash with a motorcycle, so avoid Platteview Road in that area. A crash on northbound 78th at Crown Point Avenue, still causing delays through there. Otherwise, road work with lane restrictions on Industrial Road causing slow going between 144th and 165th. And then the right lane still closed on the northbound JFK, causing delays between Gilmore Ave and L Street. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Luss Hills Harley-Davidson.
This Saturday from 10 until 4, Christmas in July at Luss Hills Harley-Davidson. It's your home in the hills. It's my home in the hills. It'll be the best savings you can find prior to Sturgis. Christmas in July. Live music, refreshments, deals, food. It's all happening at Luss Hills Harley-Davidson. Find out more at LussHillsHD.com.
Give your business a whole host of options with Host Coffee. The most impressive selection of office coffee, water options, healthy food options, and vending technologies. Host Coffee, serving you since 72.
Marvin Windows has long been known for their lasting value and beauty. Carp's Complete Home Exteriors is Omaha's first authorized Marvin Windows replacement contractor. For a free estimate, call Carp's Complete Home Exteriors or visit carpsomaha.com.
Thursday, August 11th is an important date because on that day, you can finally make the leap from just having a job to building a career. The IBEW is hosting a career fair where you can meet and interview with multiple electrical and low voltage contractors, some that are hiring on the spot. Journeyman wage starts at more than $60 per hour with full medical, training, and retirement. Don't miss your shot. It's Thursday, August 11th from 4 to 8 at Embassy Suites Conference Center in La Vista.
Summer never seems to last long enough. One day it's the 4th of July, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's Labor Day. But there's still plenty of summer left in Sarpy County. So before you start thinking about pulling your Halloween decorations out of the closet and switching to pumpkin spice everything, there's still plenty of Omaha Storm Chasers baseball at Warner Park, brewery, winery, and distillery tours, concerts, and of course, back to school shopping. So click GoSarpy.com and make the rest of your summer awesome. Sarpy County, so near, so fun.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power and savings with style. Not to mention top tech to help keep you connected. Plush, premium interiors, and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. With a hybrid or electric vehicle built for every driver. Seriously, dear gas prices? Do you really think you can stand in our way? Think again. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Corwin Toyota of Bellevue.
From sports medicine to spine, bone, and joint problems, Nebraska Medicine is your home for the region's most comprehensive orthopedic care. Our specialists have the unmatched expertise to diagnose and treat common and complex problems, with surgery being a last resort. With multiple locations, our leading care is miles ahead, yet close to home. For orthopedic advances, this is where you begin. Visit nebraskamed.com/ortho.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
Love his size.
Of 1620, The Zone.
Still to come, it is a One Beer Friday.
Yes, sir.
We got our beer from our good buddy Lucas out in the D.C. area. He said the beer that he brought us was one of the more popular local brands out there.
Lexington, Virginia, I think, is where the beer's from.
We'll get the deets coming up. But if you have something you want to show us that you're drinking heading into the weekend to wrap up this football week, send it to us in the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed and use the hashtag One Beer Friday. Also coming up, Jason Stamm, who covers Cincinnati, will join us.
Jason Statham?
No, Stamm.
Oh.
Who covers Cincinnati.
I tried to get Statham,
25
but he's too busy
teams
driving.
in 25 days. Yesterday on the program, we went down, we talked about the college football playoff and the idea that the SEC wants a lot of at-large teams. The Big Ten says, hey, we're going to back off our demand that we have to have automatic qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
The talk now seems to be almost that 12 is the floor for the next number in the playoff, and 16 has become a lot more popular number. So we just kind of, as we were talking it out, we're like, well, if we're getting rid of at-large, if we're going to make it heavy on the at-large, and it's going to be 16 teams, what if the college football playoff were 16 teams all at large?
Yes. Which seems like it might be the plan with the most momentum at the moment, which
correct
can obviously change. It's changed a million times.
So did a little research today, and I'll tweet these out shortly.
These are very interesting numbers.
But this is, if you're watching along in on the stream, here's all the playoff teams, and I apologize for all the colors, but the colors help me count up all the different teams from the different conferences. But here are all the teams, if it were at large, from 1 to 16 on the list, and all the color coding on there is to represent which conference they're in, because this was the part I wanted to see was just how it breaks down by conference. So again, if we're going back to 2014 and we're just taking the top 16 rankings in the committee's
From
final
the CFP,
poll,
yeah,
and these are the teams that get in the playoff, here's how it breaks down. The Big Ten, not the SEC.
Oh.
The Big Ten has the most qualifiers, 31.
This, by the way, goes to my theory that the SEC is super top heavy.
It is. But the Big Ten just outpaces the SEC, 31 teams over the last 8 years to 29 for the SEC. So by percentage,
yes,
the Big Ten gobbled up 24.2% of all playoff bids in this scenario. SEC 22.7%. Big 12 was next. They got 21 teams in over the 8 years. That's 16.4% of the field. The Pac-12 was 18, and the ACC, and this is the thing we observed yesterday, Robbie.
Yeah, not great.
Was
for the
how
ACC.
light the ACC has been recently.
Mm-hmm.
More on that in a minute. But overall, fifth among the Power 5 conferences, 15 bids or 11.7% of all of the bids in 16-team format. There were 8 independent schools, most of them Notre Dame, but BYU got in a couple of times, and 6 group of 5. And this is the part that's interesting, because the more you expand out, theoretically, well, that's going to open the door up, right? It's almost going to guarantee that a group of 5 team gets in. Well, if this scenario had been in play the last 8 years, they don't average even 1 a year. Only 6 teams from the group of 5 would have gotten in over the last 8 years.
Only in 5 different years, because you have 2020. You would have gotten 2. Here's the other thing that's interesting about now. I will say, for the group of 5, that is significantly more teams than they've had.
Right.
So that's something. The ACC being that low would concern me a lot if I was the ACC.
Yeah.
That is pretty startling to be in that position. And
in the last 5 years, Ravi, to your point,
yeah,
they would have only gained 7 bids. 4 of them belong to Clemson.
Yeah.
In the last 5 years, just 4 bids. That's only 1 better than the group of 5 has had in the same amount of time.
Yeah, that's horrifying if you're the ACC, especially because you've got some good football brands in your conference that simply are not playing well. You're trying to You're trying to wait this thing out.
Yep.
To where Florida State can fix itself, Miami can fix itself, Virginia Tech can fix itself, North Carolina can fix itself, and you're just waiting. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And last year, you didn't even have a particularly good Clemson team to carry your water, and Pitt would have made it, but in the bottom third, basically, of the 16. The ACC, we talked about this yesterday. The ACC needs Notre Dame in a way that no one else does. It's a feather in the cap for anyone else.
Yep.
The ACC desperately needs to lock up Notre Dame to give them another shot at having a team. And listen, we don't know what Notre Dame looks like after Brian Kelly. We just don't yet. But they need another brand like Notre Dame to give them more shots at having quality big brand football teams. Because right now, none of the teams besides Clemson are holding up their end of the bargain.
Obviously, we can't extrapolate this totally because Notre Dame got into the playoff based on the schedule they played, not that they were in the ACC. But if you were to add Notre Dame's 6 playoff bids that they would have earned over the last 8 years in this scenario,
they would have
been tied for third most with the Big 12.
And
but
also,
as it stands now, they're even 3 behind the Pac-12, who's also been very light on bids.
Yeah.
You know, they only would have had 1 last year, none in 2020, only 2 in 2019, and only 2 in 2018.
Think about that for a second. There was a Power 5 conference that did not have. Now, I get 2020 was super weird, especially for the Pac-12, but they couldn't sneak a team into the top 16 in the country.
Yeah.
Northwestern made that cut.
Northwestern made it twice.
Coastal Carolina made that cut.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, who we forget plays football in the Big Ten, made that cut.
Uh-huh.
The Pac-12, I think the Pac-12 is perceived as being the most in trouble, and I tend to agree, but the ACC is in worse shape than it seems.
Yeah.
The names are big, but the success has been questionable at best.
By the way, yes, Alabama and Ohio State would have made it all 8 years. Oklahoma 7, Clemson, Georgia, Notre Dame 6 each. And here's an interesting one. By the way, Iowa, congratulations, 4.
Good job, Iowa.
Here's another interesting thing to think of. If we would have had this 16-team format over the last 8 years, remember, going into last season, Jim Harbaugh was believed to be on at least a warm seat.
Yeah.
Michigan would have made 5 of the last 8 playoffs. How much different would the narrative have been around Ann Arbor? I know they didn't win any conference titles until last year, but they still would have made 4 playoffs prior to last year.
It would have been dramatically different. This is why every once in a while you hear about college basketball coaches wanting to expand their thing to 96 teams or whatever. It's because making the NCAA tournament saves your job at most places.
It does.
Now there's other places where, you know, your Duke, your North Carolina, your Kentuckys of the world, where if you don't make it to at least the second weekend, then you had a disappointing year. But if you're Jim Harbaugh and Michigan, and you can point to, hey, we were, 7th this year, we made it in. We were 8th this year, we made it in. And you can point to, hey, we are consistently putting ourselves in a place to win a national championship. Do we need to beat Ohio State? Absolutely. Do we need to win the Big Ten? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, we're giving ourselves a shot to win a national championship. That has to change the narrative about him.
Coming up next, Cincinnati, who made the playoff last year in a 4-team field. We'll preview them in 25 teams in 25 days. Jason Stamm will join us next, right here on 1620 The Zone.
Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Question 5. Lucas and Carla have 3 homework assignments each. Lucas does his online at home, but Carla has no internet at home. If Carla has to travel 5 miles to find Wi-Fi at a noisy diner or a grocery store parking lot, how can she ever be expected to do well in school?
This is not a problem kids should have to solve. Cox Connect to Compete, providing affordable internet to lower-income students. Available to new residential Cox Internet customers who meet eligibility criteria. Other restrictions apply.
Imagine it's a scorcher and your home's AC just quit. Sometimes it's beyond repair and needs to be replaced. At 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning, our comfort specialists take the frustration out of the equation. Modern AC systems are more energy efficient, which is good news for your energy bill. Call 402-788-1234 or visit mccarthys1hour.com.
Always on time, or you don't pay time. Always on time, or you don't pay time.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in their respective state or county.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
It's your time for higher education, not higher debt. And it all starts with a scholarship application to Metropolitan Community College. Every year, MCC awards more than $3 million in scholarships to students. In less than 5 minutes with a single application, you can apply for all the scholarships available to you. It's your time to path forward. Let MCC show you the way. Register today. Classes start September 6th. Apply today at mccneb.edu/scholarships.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program. Start the countdown to kickoff of the college football season.
Ritter delivers right on the money, and that's going to be a Cincinnati touchdown. Josh Wiley, the tight end. Kick gets blocked by Cincinnati, and now a chance for the Bearcats on the deflection. Up the middle to Ford, out into the open with the power and the speed combo. Touchdown, Bearcats.
Ritter taking a shot downfield. He wants Pierce, who makes the catch.
It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct's 25 teams in 25 days.
And with that, we're joined by Jason Stamm, a writer for the Rivals Network. Jason, thanks for joining us. Appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys.
The Bearcats, of course, with undefeated seasons the last couple of years, lost in the bowl game, lost in the playoff last year, but with Luke Fickell at coach, he was hired on. Obviously, we remember him from the Ohio State days, but the job he has done at Cincinnati, now he's got a new contract extension. And maybe even more important, Cincinnati at least has that invite into the Big 12 conference. Do those things indicate that Luke Fickell might actually be around Cincinnati for a while?
Yeah, I really don't see him leaving for quite a while. I know he's been mentioned anytime there's been any kind of coaching change the last couple of years. And I know he gave Notre Dame some thought, and he really was the one that put a word in for Marcus Freeman. That was his defensive coordinator with the Bearcats. But, I've always said the only places I could ever see him leaving for are really Notre Dame, which he turned down, and Ohio State. So something reference to Ryan Day, he decides to leave and go somewhere else, or, something else happens unforeseen. I could see him absolutely going to that one. But, people don't realize, I think, or forget maybe that, he's never coached outside of the state of Ohio. He's been a coach for 20 years now, never left the state. He's from there. His wife's from there. He's devout Catholic, which Cincinnati is a very Catholic area, similar to, in some ways to Omaha. But, I think he's got everything he needs. He's got the contract extension. He's headed to the Big 12 now. If you look recruiting-wise, they're beating out other Power 5 teams. So, I think he's pretty set. I can't see him going anywhere for the foreseeable future.
In terms of things that the university has done to keep Luke Fickell as their head coach, obviously you mentioned the contract, the conference move, and everything like that. What have they done in terms of infrastructure and things like that at the university to kind of keep up with the arms race that is college football now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Nippert Stadium is quite old. I mean, we're talking about a stadium that was built back in the 1920s. So we're coming up on 100 years of that stadium. It's been refurbished a few times. Only holds just under 40,000. I think it's listed at 40,000. It's not really 40,000 standing room. You can get it up to that size. And as far as practice facilities, they don't have a true practice facility. They have an outdoor turf field that when they need it during the season, they put a bubble over top of it and use that as their indoor facility. So, there's not a ton of place to expand just where the campus is. It's kind of surrounded by, it's an urban campus right in the middle of Cincinnati or just north of downtown. So they don't have a ton of room to work with, but they have definitely put more money into staff. He's got a staff comparable to, I think, about any Power 5 program. Maybe not monetarily. I'm not saying they're the same as like Ohio State, but they've got a lot more assistants. They've got a lot more staffers, and they're getting paid, pretty well. I think that's part of why you see the consistency and not a ton of staff turnover there. So, I think they pledged obviously their confidence in him and Fickell himself with the contract extension. So. I think with what they have to work with, they're giving him the resources that he needs, even recruiting, anything else. But yeah, it's not quite up to that level of the other schools, a Big Ten level school for him. Maybe quite yet. Maybe it'll get there, but it's not there yet.
It certainly says something about how Cincinnati has recruited recently, that a team can lose so much, and they did. They lost a lot. They've lost Desmond Ridder. They've lost top running back, top receiver, 2 top corners. A lot of players departed. Let's start with Ridder because his 44 all-time wins, third most in the history of college football, major college football. The battle in the spring was between Ben Bryant and Evan Prater, and it seems like they were neck and neck after spring football. Who has the edge, if anybody, going into the fall?
I don't know. Nobody's tipping their hand. That was a question that that was asked of Luke Fickell yesterday on the Americans conference call, their virtual media day, and he talked about it being a true battle. That they want to make it as much of a battle as possible because they're not live, they're not being tackled or anything for obvious reasons. So you're not going to get a true gauge, but everything I'm hearing is that it's still a pretty good battle. I mean, Ben Bryant spent his first 3 seasons in Cincinnati, transferred to Eastern Michigan where he threw for over 3,000 yards last season. Evan Prater was, 4-star kid coming out of high school there in Cincinnati. Been on the bench right behind Ridder, was the backup quarterback last year. This going into his 3rd season now with the team. So, neither one of these guys are true freshmen. They've been around a little bit. They've been in that program, even with Bryant, transferring out, coming back, which doesn't happen too often in itself. That also speaks volumes. Nobody's really talking about that. But yeah, I don't know. For the longest time, I thought it was going to be Prater. I still think Prater kind of has a slight edge. I just think he's more athletic and can do more at the position than Bryant. But, when you throw, you don't Eastern Michigan or wherever, you're not just going to go out there and throw for 3,000 yards without some talent. So I think Bryant is plenty capable, and, either guy, whoever wins out, I think they're still going to be in good hands either way.
Jason, obviously the departure of Ritter hangs over the offense, but you're also breaking in a new offensive coordinator in Gino Giuduli. Is that going to play as much of a factor as trying to replace Ritter, or what do you expect from the offensive coordinator side of things?
I don't see that as a big, really transition at all. Gino is, played at Cincinnati. A lot of the records that Ritter broke last year were all of Gino Giuduli's records from when he played at Cincinnati back in the early 2000s. So you're talking about a guy who's from Northern Kentucky, he played at Cincinnati, kind of earned his chops or cut his chops and cut his teeth, and then got into moved up at Cincinnati. But he's been the quarterbacks coach and the passing game coordinator the last couple of seasons. I guess this is his sixth season with the staff. So he's just getting promoted. It's not like it's going to be a huge transition over. And I think also what's not getting talked about too is that they return all 5 starting offensive linemen. So also gives them a lot of confidence that whether it's Bryant or whether it's Evan Prater, I think they're going to have some good protection. There's some spots on that line that are a little better than others. They've got, I think, arguably the best center, at least in the conference, in Jake Renfro, and they've got some other talent, but it's still, I don't think it's going to be a huge transition scheme wise or anything from what they've been doing. Even losing Mike Denbrock to LSU.
Talking with Jason Stamm, who covers the Cincinnati Bearcats for Rivals via Bearcat Report. How does Cincinnati replace not one, but 2 All-American cornerbacks, Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant?
That's a good question. I think that is maybe one of the bigger areas that I don't think it's a ginormous drop-off. They've still got plenty of talent back in the secondary. But yeah, they arguably, I would argue they have the top, cornerback tandem of any team in the country last season between Sauce Gardner and Kobe Bryant. I mean, you just don't get a pair of corners like that. Sauce Gardner didn't give up a touchdown there in his entire career, which is just unheard of. So, they've got some good talent coming up. They signed a couple of good players. They've got like J.Q. Hardaway, who I know they're really impressed with as a freshman from Alabama. Arquan Bush played a lot last year, mostly in the nickel position. Sammy Anderson, I think we'll probably see some more time. Taj Ward. I don't think it's going to be a steep drop-off, but yeah, it's going to be a drop-off when you're coming from a pair of All-American corners like that. So if there's a spot that you might see, opposing teams pick at, or at least test early on, I'd be shocked. If I'm Arkansas, that's immediately who I'm going to test. I'm going to test at secondary just to see how much of a drop-off that we're, I'm thinking, and I'm being told it's not a huge one, but obviously we're not going to see until they get out there against a team like Arkansas, and we'll know immediately just what kind of a drop-off we're talking about.
Jason, obviously you lose the 2 cornerbacks that John just talked about. You lose Desmond Ritter. You lose quality All-American or all-conference type players at a couple other levels of the defense as well. What are you looking at as far as newcomers that you think can come in and make an impact at some of those spots that have been left open?
Well, they did do very, very well in the transfer portal. I think they picked up arguably it's probably one of the top 5 offensive weapons and top 5 defensive weapons that were available. They got Nick Mardner, who was a receiver from Hawaii, was Hawaii's leading receiver last year. He's on the Biletnikoff watch list to start the season. He'll probably be their top target. I'd be shocked if he's not, along with Trey Tucker. Offensive wise, they still got Leonard Taylor and Josh Weil, who are probably the 2 best tight ends in the American. They're back this season. So offensively, I don't expect a huge drop off. Again, you got the question with quarterback, but defense wise, they got the MAC Defensive Player of the Year in Ivan Pace, whose brother Deshaun is already on. I think he's a junior this year with the Bearcats. So they've got the two brothers, Deshaun and Ivan. Deshaun, I thought even since last year watching him, he looks like an NFL potential linebacker. So that's their strength. Definitely linebacker. They've got a couple of guys up front too that are really strong. But as far as newcomers, you're going to see some true freshmen play, but those two transfers, Nick Mardner and Ivan Pace, those are going to be quite vital to help them, keep pace with what they did last season.
Jason Stamm covering Cincinnati for Bearcat Report. Jason, we appreciate it. Thank you very much, and have a great season.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
You bet. Jason Stamm here on Unsportsmanlike Conduct, and that wraps up the first week of 25 teams in 25 days. Teams 16 through 20 next week.
Ooh.
Cincinnati,
spicy.
Last year, all the talk was, they had a couple of Power 5 games early, and that was going to be the thing. If they could win those games, then they're a serious contender. And
that Notre Dame game especially, I think, kind of gave them the juice they needed to consider themselves a real playoff contender.
This year, the juice comes in week 1. They face Arkansas, who we just had earlier this week in 25 teams. They still have Indiana on the schedule, but those are going to be the two games they're going to be judged on. It will be interesting now that they've actually made a playoff to see if they are treated a little bit differently by the committee when their time comes to be considered. But
yeah,
my guess is the rest of that schedule is not going to be beefy enough for a lot of folks. Key stretch, late October, going both to SMU and UCF on the road. Those could be trip up points en route to another perfect regular season. But this is it's going to be interesting to see. I think there's way too much to replace. I know they've recruited well, but when you look at, and I like to use The Athletic when I do my research, what Luke Fickell has done, yes, they've improved. They're now a top 50 recruiter the last 3 years, but again, that's only top 50. When you consider that your national title teams,
it's 15,
are always in the top. Well, they've been in the top 10 since the playoff era began.
But if you go back, I think even to the BCS era, I think 15 is the cutoff of just making it.
Correct. It is rather impressive.
It's great for a MAC team. It really is.
It is.
It's almost unheard of outside of, and it's not a MAC team obviously, but outside of the stuff
AAC,
outside of the stuff that Jackson State is doing with Deion Sanders and their kind of recruiting coup that they've had, it's almost unheard of at their level. The problem is that's still a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
And I know Arkansas is supposed to be good. It's not a name like Notre Dame, and they are going to have to be better than, because we have them in the 20s, right?
Yep.
They're going to have to be better in the 20s than being in the 20s for Cincinnati to use that as a springboard into another playoff appearance. That has to be a top 10 type win in order for it to matter that much.
Absolutely.
It would help if Indiana was good too, which I don't.
Yeah, I think they'll be better than last year, but that's not going to
hard to be worse.
Lot.
But that's not gonna help them the way they need it to.
Coming up next, it is One Beer Friday.
Let's go.
1620 The Zone.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time-Saving Traffic Center. Heads up, we're getting reports that Platteview Road is closed for both directions between 36th and the JFK because of a crash with a motorcycle, so avoid Platteview Road in that area. A crash on northbound 78th at Crown Point Avenue, still causing delays through there. Otherwise, road work with lane restrictions on Industrial Road causing slow going between 144th and 165th. And then the right lane still closed on the northbound JFK, causing delays between Gilmore Ave and L Street. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Don't let high gas prices kill your summer plans. Saul's is the place to beat the summer budget crunch. With cash-on-the-spot loans to help you get out of town, book that flight, or take that epic road trip. Cash on the spot, your summer getaway at Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
You know how some commercials say silly things like conveniently located, and the actual location is way across town? At Core Bank, we're located on your desktop, laptop, or smartphone. So if you need a business loan, you don't have to drive anywhere. Get the funds you need with Rapid Track Loan from Core Bank. It's really convenient and really fast. Go to rapidtrackloan.com and apply today. At Core Bank, we make lending convenient for businesses. Loan subject to credit approval, not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. Member FDIC.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent. But then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel is all conversation-based, so it gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
You'll really see a difference in how conversational you can be in just a few weeks.
Babbel isn't just lessons. You can listen to podcasts, play games, watch videos. You can even take live online classes with a language teacher. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Text radio to 64,000 to try Babbel for free. That's radio to 64,000. RADIO to 64,000.
Hi, everybody. Gary Sharp. You know, if you've been in Nebraska for a while and you love going to sporting events and you're getting your hands on the best tickets, there's a good chance you bought them from Ticket Express. Well, I'm here to tell you that Ticket Express has a new name. It's Tickets for Less. So if you've loved the quality customer service and the community feel that Ticket Express has brought us over the past 3 decades, have no fear. Tickets for Less is going to be here with the same energy and the same selection. Ticketsforless.com. Always the best seats at the best prices to your favorite sporting events. And if you ever need anything, just give them a call. 402-398-1999 and tell them Gary sent you.
Across the country, more than 3,000 people were killed by distracted driving. 3,000 mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and friends. In Nebraska, distracted driving-related crashes have gone up 32% since 2010. That's 4,500 crashes, 1,500 injured, and more than 100 dead. Using your phone while you drive is illegal. Drive safely. Somebody's waiting for you back home.
Visit nedrivingconcern.org. Brought to you by the Nebraska chapter of the National Safety Council and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Dear gas prices, go take a hike. Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. The Toyota hybrid lineup brings efficiency with power and savings with style. Not to mention top tech to help keep you connected. Plush, premium interiors, and the most advanced Toyota safety features. So, now you know who you're talking to. Toyota, the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years, with a hybrid or electric vehicle built for every driver. Seriously, dear gas prices? Do you really think you can stand in our way? Think again. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimates, CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
See your independently owned Omaha Metro Toyota dealers. Village Point Toyota of Omaha, Baxter Toyota of La Vista, or Corwin Toyota of Bellevue.
Shop Woodhouse Place Hyundai and Nissan, 144th and Giles. KOZN, Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs.
It'd be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
It would be nice to have a pro.
Throw.
From your mom.
I drank beer with my friends. Sometimes I had too many beers. I liked beer. I still like beer. Had beers, have some beers. One beer, drink beer, drinks beer, drank beer, and drinking beer.
Upstairs, downstairs, where was it? I don't know, but I had one beer.
Friday!
Probably have Beer Center each week. Ralph Club, biggest contributor.
Beer. I like beer. I don't know if you like Beer Center or not. What do you like to drink?
I had one beer. Friday.
Hanging out and having some beers with friends, which I gladly do. which I fully embrace.
Well, you think it was... Nope, it was one beer. Friday!
Let's hear the chorus. When you say put, you say
It is time for a one beer Friday.
Here it is.
And it is here. Hang on. Let me get the screen back up so everyone can see it. Am I not? You're like, no, you're shooting off your computer.
Oh, am I? Shoot.
He was pointing at the other camera.
There we go.
Let me get you the ISO cam here, Ravi. There it is.
It's okay, Ravi. Vienna waits for you.
This is from
Stop it.
Devil's Backbone Brewing Company in Lexington, Virginia. It is called Vienna Lager, and it is from friend of the program, Lucas, who was nice enough to join us yesterday, brought it by yesterday. He's visiting from the D.C. area where he works. He's
from here originally.
He's originally from Winnebago.
Yeah.
And he said, thanks for making my dog walks with, I think it's Ramon or Raymond. I think it's Roman. More enjoyable. Yes, I do listen to the radio replays after the show is aired. And yes, I am aware it is still considered AM radio. Enjoy the D.C. area's best pound-for-pound beer on me. Your D.C. area friend of the Grum, Lucas, who is also a graduate of the University of Nebraska. So, Lucas, thank you very much.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you yesterday, Lucas. We had a nice little chat with him before the show.
Yeah.
And he actually he got to step in for a minute and listen to the crossover.
Yeah, he watched
how the magic worked.
Yeah, well, magic might be aggressive for what we do, but he saw how the sausage was made.
Oh, that's good.
It is good. It's a quality lager.
Yeah,
that is good.
It's rich.
It is rich. It's not as
light as a lot of lagers
yeah,
are. A lot of the macros are.
It's got a little more. It's a little fuller than a lot of the lagers are.
It has 4 Great American Beer Festival medals and 2 World Beer Cup medals.
Yeah, it's a quality beer right there. I like that.
That is really good. Well, thank you very much, Lucas. We appreciate it. And
Thank
whatever
you.
it is you all are drinking,
send it in to us
this weekend. Send it to us. JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Take a picture. Use the hashtag OneBeerFriday, and we'll try to retweet as many as we can get to. Thank you again for joining us here on this Friday, this One Beer Friday, which could be our last.
Huh?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, it could be our last.
You can't just casually drop that.
Well, I can casually drop it because the Chinese are trying to casually drop their junk on us. Once again, the Chinese are trying to kill us. They're coming after us. If it's not one thing, it's another. This time, it's a rocket. Have you heard about this? Have you seen this?
It probably won't land on us.
Well,
probably.
There's a huge Chinese rocket that is falling to Earth. The hunk of junk is the core stage of a rocket that launched I didn't know the Chinese had a space station. Yeah, they launched something up. They launched some supplies or junk or whatever up to their space station last Sunday, and the rocket is coming back to Earth. And now this was as of like 4 hours ago, so I don't know if they've updated this, but they've got like potential paths,
the trajectories,
the potential paths.
Yeah,
I'm going to retweet this.
Uh-oh. Don't cause mass
But one
panic,
of the
John.
paths takes it basically all across the entire state of Nebraska, from Scottsbluff through Omaha.
That's kind of cool.
No, that's not cool.
It would be cool to see if it didn't hit anything or hurt anybody.
Exactly, but
I don't want any of that.
But
are you sure?
Yes.
The odds are it could happen.
I'm anti
It
people.
could happen.
True.
Now it's like you probably have better odds of hitting the Mega Millions. By the way, I do have our ticket.
Yes,
I do have our ticket.
Oh, nice.
I have our ticket.
I'm gonna go buy some on my own too for the wife and I.
Yeah, I got
the doggos. One for each dog.
Well, we'll probably buy. I mean, I'm not gonna like assign one to each dog. We'll probably buy enough to cover the dogs as well.
Mm.
Obviously, we will share the money with the dogs if we win.
But
not like create bank accounts for them, but we'll buy them stuff.
But there's a chance it could fly right over us and dump all their debris right on top of us.
It's true. There is a chance.
And as we know here in Nebraska, especially after last season, things are very close.
Yeah, close is too close for comfort.
Too close is too close for comfort.
Yeah, it's true. You're right. But if we learn anything from Nebraska, it will probably be close and not hit us. So, positive boy here, just trying to spin this in a way where none of us are annihilated by a Chinese rocket.
Don't want to close my eyes.
Adam, I'm sorry, but Adam says I'm turning into InfoWars screaming about China. It's their rocket. It's not my rocket. I didn't launch this rocket. I didn't launch this debris into the sky to have it rain down upon us. Just saying.
He did his own research. You decide.
He didn't have to do his research.
I didn't do the research. I retweeted the research.
He knows for a fact that he did not launch that rocket.
I did not launch that rocket.
He knows it for a fact.
The Chinese launched that rocket.
Allegedly. We don't even know. Maybe it was the robots. We don't even know. It was the AI that launched the rocket. This is their plan.
Oh, are we in Terminator 2?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's Skynet.
It's Skynet. It's all about Skynet. Speaking of the Mega Millions.
Yeah, it's Mega Billion.
Did you hear that? Now this was for the last drawing. Of course, the new drawing is tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's over $1 billion. But the last drawing they had, was it Tuesday? Did they do it?
Yeah,
Tuesday,
Friday. I think it was.
Subway, the Subway Corporation, the sandwich corporation, bought. I don't remember the exact number. It was a lot. They bought X number of tickets, and if they won, they were going to share the winnings with all of their employees.
Raising Cane's did the same thing.
Well, the New York Islanders hockey team has purchased
amazing
$50,000 in Mega Millions tickets.
So it's 25,000 tickets.
25,000 tickets. This would be a perfect story for Jerry and Marge Go Large, our movie last week. Because somebody's got to go through all 25,000 numbers to see if they won.
Check them. Yeah.
Ooh.
Not
great.
If any of those tickets hit the jackpot, the Islanders have promised the net winnings to be shared among the Islanders season ticket members, suite holders, staff, and the Islanders Children's Foundation charity.
So the rich helping the rich in charity.
But they also added their charity.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I'm glad they tacked it on.
Yeah.
I'd rather I just win. I'd prefer that.
I would too.
Yeah.
Though, I went down a dumb rabbit hole as I was driving in today thinking about, there's a lot of things that'd be a pain in the ass about winning that kind of money.
Such as?
Well, I mean, if you like where you live, for example, imagine all the people that would be harassing you. Remember how the dogs are supposed to be very protective of you? You might need to hire a few more dogs.
Oh, I would. First of all, I'd probably move.
What if Potato steals
You would
it from
leave the island of greatness?
No, I'd move to a different house.
Yeah, I think moving's a good first step.
To a different house.
Right.
I'd move
but you would stay in the Isle of Greatness.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Would this also guarantee? Can I get a promise right now?
I'll build that moat.
You'll build the moat. I wasn't even going to ask about the moat. I was going to ask if you were going to run for mayor. And then declare yourself, supreme chancellor at some point, and then build the moat.
Yeah,
you would build the moat.
Well, I might run for mayor first, but if the great people of Omaha don't recognize the genius of my plan, I might just build the moat as a private citizen. Just go ahead and...
It's going to be even though it's a lot of money, that'd be a very expensive moat.
Just start digging.
To build around the entire city.
Well, listen,
or would you just build the moat around your neighborhood?
No, well, I'd start with a moat around my house, number one, first and foremost.
Can I get a moat around my apartment?
Just from the other apartment.
I don't know how we'll do it, but can I get that?
It's gonna be a no. I've got to save the budget for the moat around the city here. The nice thing, the Missouri River provides one of the borders. Of the moat, so that I can.
That's true.
What I would probably do, because obviously I'm a hydro engineer here, I would probably just divert part of the Missouri River to create my moat.
Okay.
You might have to
It'd be fine.
The not FDA. Who's the environmental government?
It doesn't matter.
They might not be okay with it.
They'll be fine. I've looked into it. It'll be fine. They don't have any jurisdiction over the Isle of Greatness.
Oh.
All right. Well, I mean,
I was just going to buy a house in the Bluffs.
Oh, you'd move back to Iowa?
Outside of the island of
So you
Greatness.
take all that money, you take all the money, all of it, and donate the taxes to Iowa.
Probably.
How dare you?
Jeez.
I'd still pay Nebraska
How
tax. I'm not going to
dare
leave this
you.
job. I like hanging out with you guys too much. I just want a house in the Bluffs.
Well,
Like
there
they're
probably
gonna-
wouldn't be us to hang around with because we'd probably be gone.
Wow, you're just going to leave me like that?
Well, I mean, that's a lot of money. Wouldn't have to work anymore.
Yeah, I'm not working if I win $1 billion. I get you're only taking home like 500 million of that.
Yeah.
I'm not working. 0% chance I'm working.
I hate taking a vacation for a week because I run out of things to do with myself after like 3 days.
Yeah, but that's because you're poor. You can find things to do with yourself when you're rich. Because doing
It's
things
because you're a poor.
doing things
You're a
costs money.
poor.
Doing things costs money. And as a poor, you can't afford to do things. As a rich, you can do whatever you want.
Thank you for poor-splaining to me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So you would move back to the Bluffs.
I mean, I'm not from the Bluffs. I just like the view. I like the view in the Bluffs.
I mean, if you're gonna go somewhere,
It overlooks
why
the
wouldn't you,
airport.
why wouldn't you move to
if you want
Florida or California?
Because I
or
don't have a
Texas?
guaranteed radio job in Florida or
You
Colorado.
would need a job.
I want a job, John. I hate
Also,
not working.
Low-key, you could just buy a radio station and work
There you
for
go.
yourself.
Yeah, you could like go to
That's-
Hilton Head,
that's
buy
what
your
I'm-
own radio station, and then you could run it however you
That's
wish.
what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna buy 1620 and maybe put it on an FM station.
So I would buy 1019. I
You'd
would
buy-
only buy 1019.
Oh no! So I'm gonna use the money to create a moat around 1019.
Nope. Yeah, I already won, so I'm not allowing that to happen.
We see that's the thing about signals is they travel over those things. So I mean, all we would have to do is
We'll
switch.
put
the
up a
signals.
blocker here, but it's no. I would just buy the radio station and then somebody on the air is out of luck because I'm taking that job. I haven't decided who yet. So
Jordan with a great question. How would Grimm handle being in the 1%?
I have thought about this before.
Be
If
an
I'm ever
existential crisis.
if I'm ever
exactly.
if I'm ever in a position
Capitalism boy.
where I have so much money, I am gonna donate most of it. Like all I need is enough to like do my day-to-day thing, and then I'm just want to donate as much as I can. I want to be a philanthropist boy.
I'm gonna donate most of it to my hobbies.
I'm going to donate it to my favorite charity, the John Bishop Foundation.
I don't know. When I was in elementary school, we had to do like biography reports of famous people in the country, and I got Andrew Carnegie, and I saw the philanthropy he did later in his life, and that resonated with me. Not so much a lot of the other stuff Carnegie did, but a lot of the donating philanthropy stuff. That was cool.
I see.
Yeah, I might donate some of it, but I'm gonna be honest. I'm spending a good chunk of that.
I mean, I'm gonna I have priorities, like house, car.
I'm gonna
student loans.
I'm gonna burn through some of that. Do you have a car that you're like, I'd buy this car?
Oh, absolutely.
What is it?
GTR Black Edition 2017.
John?
2017. Why don't you get a new one?
I like the 2017 Black Edition GTRs.
So you're going to get a used car. You're going to buy a used car.
John, they don't have that many miles on them to begin with.
It's still a used car.
It's true.
I like the 2017.
Someone else's butt cheeks
John,
have sat in that
It's
seat.
a used car that still costs $200,000 used.
Doesn't seem like a very good deal. I'm going to be honest. with you.
I would say, yeah, you should try CarMax for that.
I knew the used car market was out of control, but come on.
Yeah.
Or a 74 Datsun. Those are cool too.
John, do you have
I would
one?
have a fleet of cars.
Oh, I'd have
I would have a
multiple.
fleet of cars. I mean, obviously,
Do you
I've
have
always wanted
one?
a Corvette. I want
Old one, new one.
a brand new one.
Brand
I
new
mean,
one.
with the
Not buying a
mid-engine and-
used car with.
Yeah, I'm not buying no used. Well, I might have
like
to
philanthropy boy over
I might
here.
have to get a
That's,
used one
that's me.
initially because I'd have to order the new Corvette. But,
Sure.
but I would also like to
Little red Corvette.
I'd like to find some project cars.
Okay.
Project cars are fun.
And build them up.
Is that how you
muscle
spend
cars
a
and
lot
stuff.
of your time? Is
Yeah.
project carring it up?
Now I'm terrible with my hands, so
I can help.
Are you just gonna hire somebody and like watch them work on your project?
Probably.
Want me to?
Hey, you want me to sand this? Want me to sand the seat? I said sand the seat for you.
You need me to wrench anything here? I could do some wrenching.
Plymouth Prowler. I've always wanted one of those too.
Oh, those were interesting looking cars.
They're
back
so
in the
ugly,
day.
but I love them.
Yeah, that's what I meant by interesting looking.
Build your own street rod.
I want a Plymouth Prowler. Like specifically, I just want a I want a yellow Prowler.
That's weird.
Yeah,
I know it's weird. I love that car.
it is a weird car.
It's such a cool car.
It's a weird.
I mean,
car.
that's probably what $35,000 that you could have donated to someone there, donation boy. You're turning into capitalist boy. I mean, just the thought of this
Nick
money
Grimm,
is turning Nick into
part
capitalist
of the
boy.
problem.
He is. You are the 1%. First thing he's going to do after he gets the Prowler, head to the Douglas County election office and change his registration to Republican.
Oh no!
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was going to vote for me for mayor.
Well, by the time you get to be mayor,
then
there's not going to be voting anymore because you're just going to declare yourself supreme chancellor.
Well, no, even a lot of dictatorships go through the facade of pretend voting.
Facade. You want the facade of the.
I want the illusion.
You know what? I will volunteer to be your dummy opponent. Who always? I will be your Washington.
You're going to be my Washington Generals.
I'll be the Washington Generals to your Harlem Globetrotters. We'll even go through the facade of debates and everything. And
you're gonna be like, that's a really good point, Ravi. We should have a motor.
Can we sneak some some of our dumb debates in there too? Just
I don't have an answer for that. I don't have an answer for the moat. That moat's a great
and then
idea.
just randomly in the middle of the debate, you'll walk over with the bucket, and I think it's water, and it ends up being confetti.
But sometimes it's gonna be water.
But sometimes
every once in a while,
water.
it's gonna be water.
Well, either way, if you are planning on buying tickets last minute, good luck because the lines are probably going to be long. I walked in to the little convenience shop near my house.
Yeah. Lines already?
The poor guy behind the counter, I said, yeah, I'll take 5 of the deals. And he turned to me and said, you mean 5 of those bleep, bleep tickets? He was already frustrated. He had someone come in today who apparently must have been buying for others. I don't know, but insisted on 35 individually printed out tickets.
Oh,
that's annoying.
The guy who had to print those hates him.
Right. And he's like, I don't know if my printer's going to make it.
You know,
I saw other people actually filling out the thing because they wanted to select their own custom numbers.
Yeah.
I never do that.
Doesn't improve your odds.
That seems so dangerous.
I never want to do
Some people think it does improve your odds. It's still 1 in like 400 million.
How many people do you think take the lucky numbers from their fortune cookies and try to do that?
Oh, probably a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say a decent amount. I think people put a lot of stock in fortune cookies.
I wonder how often it's worked.
Probably almost never.
I wonder how many people have ever filled out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the power bar or whatever it is, 7.
What's the kind of combination an idiot would have on his luggage?
Exactly.
The Spaceballs reference.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hmm.
All right. Still to come, we've got some unsportsmanlike content, including 3 months later. Oh, no, actually, it's 4 months later.
Oh, no.
An apology from Will Smith. And more as we continue on 1620 The Zone.
Previously on The Crossover.
When you have the tin of popcorn and it has the 4, the cheese, the white, the caramel.
you're bougie. You went
and then
4. Usually it's 3.
Or is it 3? Okay.
Yeah.
But there's always one that's
That you're-
about 75% gone before any of the others are touched. Which one is it? Caramel.
Cheese.
Mine's caramel. Oh, no.
All 3 are garbage.
Whoa!
Not a
Popcorn
not a
snob.
popcorn guy.
Sharp and Benning in the morning. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike Conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620. The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast presented by Funplex Water Park and Rides from the KETV Newswatch 7 Weather Center on 1620 The Zone.
Cloud coverage will be on a decrease throughout the evening and overnight as temperatures eventually cool into the lower 60s around daybreak Saturday. A little bit more the same for your Saturday afternoon. We're tracking milder temperatures, a high temperature of 89 degrees with mostly sunny skies. I'm meteorologist Anthony Copeland for KETV News Watch 7.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct, brought to you by a great friend of the program, Union Bank and Trust.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Burton AC Heating, Plumbing, and More Time Saving Traffic Center, Heads up, Platteview Road is currently closed for both directions between 36th Street and the JFK because of a crash involving a motorcycle, so find an alternate route for that. Also, the lane restrictions on Industrial Road between 144th and 165th causing delays for eastbound and westbound commuters. If you're south on 680, slow going between Blondo and Dodge. If you're east on I-80, delays between 680 and 72nd. And then the right lane still closed on the northbound JFK, causing delays from Gilmore Ave to L Street. I'm Mike Neville. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Thrift America Thrift Stores.
Thrift America Thrift Stores. We have the goodies. Clothing, housewares, furniture, and more. Shop our 2 locations, 73rd and Blondo or 84th and Giles. Thrift America. Now open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. Find us online at thriftamericaomaha.com.
25 PGA Tour cards, 1 champion, unlimited action. Don't miss this year's Pinnacle Bank Championship, presented by Aetna and part of the Corn Ferry Tour, August 8th through the 14th at the Club at Indian Creek. Visit thepinnaclebankchampionship.com/tickets.
I want to make the most of summer without breaking the bank. So I shopped Kohl's Friends and Family sale. With my 25% off coupon, I headed to the store and got shorts for $14.99, plus an extra 50% off a swimsuit, 40% off patio furniture, and $20 off as a Kohl's Rewards member. More style and more savings for the win. Select styles, $20 off of $100 valid in store only. 25% offer ends July 31st in store only. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
DQ presents the sound of a summer double play. It's the sound of drumstick pieces and peanuts combined with world famous soft serve to make 2 all-star treats. The drumstick with peanuts blizzard and new caramel drumstick with peanuts blizzard. Grab one today or get it delivered at DQ.com. Official treat of MLB. DQ. Happy tastes good.
Your neighborhood is more than blocks of buildings. It's the people who live there that make it special. At Union Bank and Trust, we're not just creating home loans, we're making neighbors. We're not just small business lenders, we're small business shoppers. We don't just live in your community, we help you build it. Because our people are your people. Visit ubt.com/neighbor to learn more. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
This is Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
That almost sounds pornographic.
The 1620. The Zone.
Welcome back. John, Ravi, and Nick, as we wrap things up on a football week. It's a One Beer Friday. Keep sending us those picks. We appreciate it. Hashtag
beer.
One Beer Friday. Love
One
this,
Beer
Love
Friday.
this Vienna lager.
Beer.
Fantastic.
Yes, thank you, Lucas.
Thank you again, Lucas. That is some really good stuff. I tweeted this out earlier in the week, but didn't get a chance to share it yesterday. For those watching in on the stream, it's a map of the United States. This is from at CFB Data. And it is a map of of where each team's geographic recruiting center is. So you're taking your roster and you're plotting on that roster where all of your players come from.
Sure.
And wherever the geographic center is of all of these players, that's the plot point that you see all the team logos on. And not surprisingly, most schools' geographic center basically stretches from, if you want to, kind of use a north-south delineation, basically from Indianapolis south to Tallahassee. Everybody, I mean, I would say, and these are all the FBS schools, I would say that 80% of the FBS schools or their geographic recruiting center is located essentially south of the Iowa-Missouri border.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. More than 80%. It's like
east of Dallas.
Yeah.
And that's it's basically the southeast corner of the country.
The southeast is pretty dramatic. Obviously, you've got a huge Texas contingent.
Yeah, most of the Texas schools, their geographic center is still in Texas,
which is
like Austin, like Texas, the University of Texas, their geographic center is basically where they are located. But Oklahoma is not very far south of Norman, and same with Oklahoma State.
Same thing with Florida State. Florida State's geographic center is basically Tallahassee.
Yes.
I was kind of surprised by how far Florida is away from their actual campus, which is not terribly far. But,
no, it's not. There's still,
but it's a little bit further than some of the other Florida schools there. Obviously, your West Coast teams skew West Coast, but even those teams, even your West Coast teams, skew south and further east than they are.
Yeah.
Like SC is all the way in Arizona, despite the fact that they get a ton of kids from obviously the Southern California region. The one that's kind of funny to me is Stanford. Stanford is like almost directly center.
Yes, Stanford is located basically in the Oklahoma Panhandle.
Yeah, it's basically where
which
the
is very
Oklahoma
surprising.
Panhandle and where the Texas Panhandle meet.
Yeah,
is where Stanford is. Although when you think about it, it's not really, because they do have to recruit nationally.
They
because
recruit
of their
nationally,
academic standards,
right? But Northwestern, who is in a kind of a similar boat, their geographic center is just a little bit south of St. Louis, so it's not that far from.
And Notre Dame's is a lot closer to Indiana than you. I would have expected Notre Dame's to be a little more central, but also they start a lot more central than Stanford does.
Nebraska's geographic recruiting center is
just south of Kansas City.
Just south of Kansas City.
Yeah.
And it'd be curious. I'd be interested to see what this map looks like, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
I actually thought it'd be further south than this. Maybe southeast, but I thought it'd be further away than this.
And the reason I ask about, other years is I almost wonder if Nebraska's would be a little further west. Because Nebraska with, recruiting Arizona, recruiting Colorado, recruiting California.
I think it depends on which era of Nebraska, because obviously with the Mike Riley and Bill Callahan eras, California got hit real heavily. That was
Calabrasca movie.
Yeah, the Calabrasca, but there was a ton of West Coast with the Bill Callahan era as well. And it's not like Nebraska ever neglects California. It's just they were particularly heavy in those. And then back in the Big 12 days, it was a lot more Texas heavy. So it probably would have been further south, if not further west. So it is interesting to see where they are. Another one I thought was interesting is Iowa is still in Iowa, just barely, but they held on.
Yeah, latitude and longitude. I think Iowa, it's basically a dead heat. It looks like between Iowa and Washington,
furthest north.
as furthest north school. And this just gives you an idea of, how the concentration of talent
but
is
even
so
Washington,
south and east.
Even Washington is pulled much further south from their location than Iowa is.
Yeah, there wasn't like a mileage chart. I would be curious to see which school is the furthest away from their campus. Certainly, you mentioned Stanford.
It's got to be Stanford.
Stanford is right up there. And it's kind of hard, and I apologize. It's not the clearest picture in the world for those who are watching on the stream, because you got so many team logos.
And when you zoom
stacked
in,
on top of each other.
Super clear. But I think Stanford has to be the furthest away from their campus. Just looking at it, I'm not sure, because they're basically halfway across the country away from their location.
Yeah.
And I don't think
a little bit south.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's like, if you drew a straight line from Palo Alto to like Florida, which would be, across the country, north, south, and east, west, they're about halfway.
They're about half. Yeah. Good point.
So they're about as far as I think you
might be right, Ravi. And again, it's a little hard to see. Well, no.
Air Force is
Air Force. Yeah. I just noticed Air Force. Air Force is on the Kentucky, Tennessee border.
Yeah. They're down at the southern tip of Missouri, basically. So that's probably close. I'm just eyeballing here. I still think it's closer than I still think Stanford's further away.
I think you're right. I think Stanford is
just doing a quick, finger measurement.
But again, the part of this is just to show you the concentration of talent, at least how it's been recruited, is so southerly based, so southeasterly based. None of the SEC schools are outside of their footprint.
But a lot of this is population too, right? It's not just
it is
talent.
But again, you still got a lot of population in California. You got a lot of population in the Northeast, in New York City, but the football population
is south.
Because
the Northeast does not care about college football at all.
No.
That's just, they don't. And So that is going to skew basketball, especially. I bet the basketball map would look a lot different with the Northeast.
The basketball math would be an interesting.
I think it'd be more spread out. Like this is pretty concentrated.
Yeah.
I think the basketball map would be a lot more spread out. Obviously, you get a lot more talent out of like that Illinois, Indiana, like Chicago region. I think you would have more well-distributed talent across the map here, but yeah, the Northeast having basically no presence whatsoever doesn't surprise me. I'm a little surprised there isn't a further skew west for some of these like Pac-12 Mountain West teams.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little surprised that they're even pulled the same direction as everyone else, because you think of California as a major talent state, and it is, but the fact that they're even still recruiting the part of the country that pulls them to the Southeast is kind of eye-opening.
I just retweeted, and it's actually a different map, and it's just the Power 5 schools, and it shows arrows from where the campus is located to how far away it is. And when you look at some of the longer arrows, Syracuse has a long way. I mean, Stanford is the longest arrow on the map, but Boston College, Syracuse are pretty long too. And you can check that out on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed at USC 1620. But again, everybody who's not in the SEC basically points to the South and to the East, and pulls them down. And yeah, it's kind of a fascinating study. That would be fun to see a basketball version of the same map.
Basketball map would be really interesting. And then
because you'd also have the European players
who
come over. So, I mean, Creighton could be in the Atlantic Ocean.
You would. Well, what was it? I think, wasn't it Winthrop for a while that got a bunch of dudes from like New Zealand and places like that? Theirs would be like somewhere in Africa. Their dot would just be like, I don't know where this is. That would be really interesting, actually. The basketball map would be quite a bit more. I think it would be much more diverse than the.
Yeah, it'd be harder to put on one screen.
Sounds like a fun project, Ravi.
I'm 100% not doing that. I don't work here, so
yeah.
Well, just for you.
Let the professionals handle this.
Yeah,
for funsies.
I'm gonna let.
Tell you what, that can be your first charity you can donate to 1% Boy. You can donate to Ravi, who will then reassign the work to somebody else to do the basketball.
Why would I donate to another person who's already rich? That's not.
Well, I'm assuming you
not
win
as
by
rich
yourself.
as you.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
Obviously.
Yeah. You're right. I should donate to the person who's already got
1%,
multiple animals and a house.
1% boy over here,
Mr. Yard.
Oh, listen, don't judge me because I have a yard, made smart financial investments. That's not my fault. Don't judge me for that.
Yeah, the only investment you made was having me go to the convenience store and get a lottery ticket.
And your Vigi games, just pouring all your money into Vigi games.
Oh yeah, you'd have one hell of a basement.
Would have a sick basement.
You'd have
a basement.
I would say you'd have a pretty sick video game setup. I bet.
I've always wanted to have a house just so I could have a room dedicated to listening to music, but in different ways, like a library of music, like cassettes, VHS, 8-track, digital.
VHS. Who listens to music off VHS?
He still didn't listen to vinyl.
I meant vinyl.
He didn't say
I said
vinyl.
VHS, but I meant vinyl.
He's just gonna watch music videos on VHS.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of VHSs that I found that I thrifted where somebody just recorded hours and hours of MTV from 1986.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Coming up next, we have some unsportsmanlike content next on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. The weekend is here, and for many of you, I imagine that means activities, whether it's something for your son, your daughter, maybe a sporting event. Perhaps you're going on a nice long walk, a nice long hike, whatever it is. You need to be able to see. I remember back when I was running before I had a procedure done, I'd go out and my vision, well, just a little bit fuzzier. I didn't want to go out with my regular glasses. I didn't want to go out with my prescription sunglasses. Didn't want something to happen to them. And so I'd go out there. And sometimes you know how the streets are. You know how the sidewalks are. You worry about tripping. You worry about falling. And I'm focused on so much more than I should have been. Well, Don't have that problem anymore. Now I can get the cheapest sunglasses for my runs, and certainly I enjoy going to sporting events more than I ever have before. Give them a call today at 402-558-2211 or schedule a consultation online at KuglerVision.com. Find out which of their procedures will work best for you, and you can enjoy weekends like this more than ever before. KuglerVision.com.
The Connor Happer Show.
Back to the potato breeding. Potato breeding is done through sexual reproduction, i.e. pollinating flowers to produce berries which contain true seeds. Normally, when you plant potatoes, you propagate them from tubers, confusingly called seed potatoes, but which are not actually seeds, but root cuttings. You can't cross tubers.
Of course. Yeah, crossing tubes is strictly frowned upon.
Yeah, we all learned that from Ghostbusters. And there's your show promo.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone.
Woodhouse Mazda and Woodhouse Place Mazda are the Omaha Metro's exclusive Mazda dealers, conveniently located in Bellevue or in Millard off 144th and Giles Road. You can shop, finance, and buy your next Mazda SUV or sedan your way. Our friendly and knowledgeable staff will guide you to your next vehicle, and our full service department is there for you when your vehicle needs maintenance. Visit us at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com to learn more.
Before you know it, Husker football season is going to be here, and you want to be in Memorial Stadium or following the Big Red on the road. And while you look for tickets, look no further than ticketsforless.com. Formerly Ticket Express, they are your home for the best selection of Husker tickets inside of Memorial Stadium. And the best part, you'll never pay those outrageous fees like you do at other sites. Just compare. And you want to follow the Big Red on the road? Tickets for Less has you covered there, too. Find the best seats at the best prices to all your favorite Nebraska events, all in one convenient location. Ticketsforless.com. That's ticketsforless.com. Get in the stadium.
Hello, I'm Doug Nodgard with Equitable Bank. If you've been dissatisfied with your current banking situation, maybe it's time to move to a bank that works to deserve your business. We have an engaged staff that offers exceptional personalized service. We also have a great digital banking platform. We have 2 locations at 108th and Dodge or 202nd and Pacific. So if you're looking for a superior banking relationship, give us a call at 402-827-8100. We'll answer on the first ring. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Yeah, it's Coach Ice-T. Who's ready to spin? We're starting with a big hill. Let's ride.
Why is Ice-T leading our spin class? Oh, it's probably the Honey Nut Cheerios. He found out they can help lower cholesterol. Now he's having fun taking care of his heart in all sorts of new ways.
That's right, Buzz. Now, spinners, really pour your heart into it and pick it up.
Learn more by picking up a box of Cheerios and check out our Pour Your Heart Into It audio workouts with Ice-T and Buzz to get your heart pumping.
1620 The Zone's Unsportsmanlike Conduct is brought to you by Union Bank and Trust. Now back to the program.
Look, I made you some
Unsportsmanlike
content.
Unsportsmanlike content.
Unsportsmanlike content. Content that's unsportsmanlike.
It is unsportsmanlike content on 1620 The Zone. As we are almost to the weekend.
So close. I can taste it.
What's the weekend taste like?
Beer.
Lawn mowing.
You don't want grass in your mouth, John.
No, but
it tastes like a lawnmower beer.
Sometimes that happens with
lawn
a
mowing beer.
It tastes like that lawn mowing beer.
I got some old style.
A third NIL opportunity for the Huskers. The Lincoln NIL Club is open for business. Yay! Yay! Fans
Shopping!
Yeah!
Shopping!
NIL! Fans can become members for $5 a month.
That's pretty cheap.
There will be incentives to join like Husker memorabilia, steak dinner, and more. Could the NIL market become too crowded and or confusing around here?
First of all, they should get you to do the commercials for the Lincoln NIL Club. Now that you've lost your gig with Sarpy County because Ed took that over.
I think it was just a one-time thing, John.
I think you should do the commercials for the Lincoln NIL
Yeah,
Club.
be like, I don't need you, Sarpy. I got Lancaster.
So I like Sarpy County.
I don't need you, Sarpy. I got Lancaster.
So you got
Sarpy,
this,
I love you.
You got the other club. I can't. The Husker fan club that was announced a couple months ago. Of course, ABM. I've heard there is another big money NIL that is in development.
Big money.
Yeah, not like these where it's
no way.
Smaller investments.
Yeah. These
That's
piddly ones.
That's the problem with some of these is it's when you get these competing interests, I mean, if you're an athletic department who's not supposed to have contact with the NIL collective,
obviously not legal, John.
But you would like everything to be streamlined.
Sure.
Because
and
if
I'm
it's
sure that there's no preference considering one of the collectives is, deeply connected with a former staffer. I'm sure that's not happening at all.
Yeah.
That seems really unlikely that they would do something like that.
So, yes, it could be. I mean, too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
This is going to be like it's a mini .com boom.
Yes.
Not all of them will survive.
So they'll all have commercials in next year's Super Bowl.
Yes.
And then by 3 years later, they'll all be gone.
Not all of them, but only a few will survive, most likely. That's kind of how all these things, all these booms, and I get it's a little mini boom here, but nationally it's a fairly large thing. A lot of them will fall by the wayside, and then the top contenders will rise to the top. That's how these things work.
Yes,
it's capitalism. Nick would know.
Yeah. Yesterday, the GOAT, Shohei Ohtani, was channeling his inner Madonna. I don't know where I... Yeah, there it is. Meanwhile,
I thought we were about to find out that Shohei was a virgin.
No, he's just true blue.
He's not Tim Tebowing it up out here.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
AC Green.
The Angels were reportedly entertaining trade offers. Mike Farron gave a very little chance of a trade happening. What say you?
I mean, just because they're taking interest in offers doesn't mean it's going to happen.
I agree. I think the fact that it is public that they are taking offers means that it's more serious than they're just taking offers. If you have no interest in trading Shohei Ohtani, even if you're listening to phone calls to be like, how ridiculous would the offers get? You say, listen, we are thrilled to have the most talented player in baseball, or whatever you want to say. We have thrilled to have such a generational talent. We have no interest in parting ways with Shohei Ohtani. That statement, to my knowledge, has not come out yet. So I think there's more legs here than Farron's giving it credit for.
All right.
Charles Barkley has made his decision on joining the Live. No thanks. I don't know why I turned off.
He will not be live, laugh, loving it up.
He will not be live, laugh. He might be laughing and loving.
Oh, but with
Not
TNT.
Yeah.
Not with live.
Are you guys breathing a sigh of relief?
I don't care.
Well, I am from the standpoint of if he would have gone to the Live Tour, it probably would have meant the end of his appearances on Inside the NBA. With as toxic as this still is, any affiliation with the Live Tour is, I would think he would be ostracized.
TNT would cut ties.
Probably.
Yeah.
Or there'd be a contract fight. It'd be hard to see him coexisting in both worlds. Charles needs to have a presence in the NBA. That is his sport. But I also enjoy when he pops in and does other things. Also, his public persona, despite some of the things he's gotten in trouble for over the years, the man's almost like Teflon.
Nothing sticks to him.
This would have threatened that severely.
Yeah, it would have. Honestly, the biggest threat would have been how people perceive him, and I don't think he wanted that. The reason I say I don't care is I think he's retiring soon from Inside the NBA anyway. So that part of it, while I do love Inside the NBA and I love Charles's presence on there, probably doesn't affect me that much because I don't think he's sticking around much longer anyway.
White Sox announcer Jason Benetti is moving over to Fox Sports to call college football and likely MLB and college basketball. Do you look forward to hearing Benetti in Big East games?
I don't have enough familiarity with Benetti's
Oh, you don't? Okay.
Big East Benetti?
He's fantastic.
From the Whites. I don't listen to a lot of White Sox.
He's done some college football on ESPN.
Okay.
He's done some work on Westwood One for the NCAA tournament. He is a great announcer.
Yeah, I've probably heard him. I just don't recognize the name with it. But
Got a great sense of humor.
I will trust your taste in play-by-play. If you say it's a good move, I'm all in.
I would say this much. I would be all for Jason Benetti calling the Big East tournament.
Did you know that Arch Manning isn't the #1 ranked player in the nation anymore, according to ESPN? And did you know that Malachi Nelson, a 5-star quarterback from California who was already committed to USC after flipping from Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley left, is visiting Texas A&M this weekend?
Oh, Jimbo and all of that great, delicious Texas A&M NIL. I mean, that opportunity to play for Jimbo at a great school like Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Obviously, such a strong lure to get him to visit.
College Station, just a great place to live, much better than Los Angeles.
Oh, yes.
Obviously.
Yes, they have Whataburger.
Gross.
I love
Whataburger's trash.
You're
dude.
wrong.
Dude, it's bad.
It's not.
It's not even good fast food.
You're not even good fast food.
Now, I've not had it, so
It's
I can't
just
Okay, John, all you need to know is Ravi's just wrong.
Well, I know he's wrong about things like turkey and
it's man.
Why would you trust this man's food taste?
I'm usually on point with my fast food, and you know it.
John,
I'm a
Whataburger's
fast
good.
food connoisseur.
Next time you go south, get some Whataburger.
I will
please.
try. I mean, I've been to Texas many times. It's just the opportunity has never presented itself.
Then bring some back for me.
You know,
Also-
when I was in Fort Worth,
yeah,
could have gone to Whataburger, but I saw that there was an In-N-Out within walking distance. Team In-N-Out.
In-N-Out's overrated.
I've never
Oh,
had In-N-Out.
all right. Now I'm definitely not
It's
taking
good. It's good.
It's really good.
In-N-Out is good, but it's still fast food. Some
Well,
people,
yeah.
some people talk about In-N-Out.
I'm cheap.
Like, no, that's fine. Some people talk about In-N-Out like it is like they would pick it over like a Michelin star restaurant, and those people are nuts.
Well, I would if I only had, $10 to spend.
Well, sure.
But
Let's assume that it was.
Yeah.
Let's
And-
assume Rich Nick is paying.
That's true. If Rich Nick is if Nick 1% Grim is paying, I'm picking the Michelin 5-star.
I'd pick the Michelin 1-star.
I'm gonna make you eat Whataburger.
Ooh, I wonder what a Michelin one.
They're still amazing. Like to get a Michelin star is like the highest honor in. Like if you get multiple, obviously it's better. But if you have any Michelin stars, it's incredible.
Do you have to have Michelin tires when you go to a Michelin restaurant?
No. Although it did start with Michelin
It did
tires.
start with them.
Well, I figured as much because
It was a propaganda to get people to drive more.
Uh-huh.
And so they started raiding restaurants across the country. And now the world.
A result of capitalism.
Tommy is
Your
offended.
favorite.
No.
Tommy is offended. He says Whataburger is incredible. Take his mic.
Yeah. Ravi.
Good luck trying. Shoot. I forgot you have buttons.
I control it.
Hispanic. I can't repeat your text.
You should
Hispanic
read
Ralph.
his things first.
I do. I just did, and I can't repeat them. I would get in big trouble.
Speaking of big trouble, Russia.
Little China. What?
I love that movie. Russia's top diplomat says he's open to talks to a prisoner swap to bring WNBA player Brittany Griner home. Do you think this will get done before summer's out?
I mean, that there's momentum going that way, yes.
It seems like it's moving in the right direction for that to happen.
It still pisses me off that probably the only way they're going to get it done is for a basketball player who got caught with some vape materials in her bag is going to equal an arms dealer who murdered U.S. troops as part of his bidding. I mean, that part sickens me and disgusts me.
It does not seem like we're getting the better end of that trade there.
No.
That's how these things work.
But that's probably if it does happen. And I know there might be other prisoners, U.S. prisoners that are exchanged, but just the fact that we might have to give up, an international criminal, a true international criminal
right
for this is nauseating, and Russia can go to hell.
Oh, guys. A Husker coach has stepped down.
What?
This is an Unsportsman.
No, wait, sorry, not that one. Husker men's golf coach Brett Balick. Takes?
Nope.
We've lost another one to the Live Tour.
Oh, no. Not Brett.
Brett Balick is going to live, laugh, love his way to the bank, apparently.
Oh, is it Balick? Did I say that
I
wrong?
have no idea. I have no earthly idea.
I'm going to guess Ravi is right, but that would be a guess.
Well, that would also assume that Ravi's been right about things before, but about his Whataburger take,
I'm right about a lot
wrong
of things.
about it, so he can be wrong.
Many people say I'm right about a lot of things.
Will Smith is back,
folks.
He went onto his YouTube channel to speak about the slap heard round the world, and he
Sure.
apologized to Chris Rock, who Smith says isn't ready to talk to him.
Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk.
What about his wife's reaction to the whole thing?
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it.
No, he didn't.
I don't buy that at all.
He didn't. No, she didn't tell you. You saw the look she had,
And you knew.
and you knew you needed to do something. It was nonverbal communication.
This is all Jada's fault. That is a toxic relationship, and he's just got Stockholm syndrome. I'm convinced of it. He's been in that situation for so long that he doesn't even know which way's up anymore. Somebody, listen, we freed Brittany. Now it's time to free Will Smith. We got to get him out of Jada's clutches.
I wonder how many partners have they had while they've been married?
Well, I know she's had a lot. I don't know how many he's had.
Yeah.
That's the question.
Well, I mean, he's supposed to get free ones too.
Yeah, but I don't know.
But does he take advantage of them?
That's the question. That's the question.
I would say this in all seriousness. While, yeah, Chris Rock has every right to be upset, I'm kind of disappointed Chris Rock hasn't talked to him yet. I mean, if Will Smith has reached out to him.
Yeah, I think there's a larger history there. It sounds like.
I guess. I'm not familiar.
I'm not
with
either, but it sounds like in that clip he says, my history with Chris and things like that. So I wonder if there's more privately there that makes this a more difficult situation to mend. But again, I appreciate that Will Smith has taken accountability for his actions. I still think Jada is the real villain here.
Well, who knows? Maybe when Nick 1% Grimm gets his act going, maybe Jada can get him into his clutches.
She's the Palpatine to Will Smith's Vader in this situation.
Oh,
Vader killed all the
Wait, Palpatine and Vader had a love affair?
It's possible. It's the subtext of the entire trilogy. I like
the rule of two, John.
Definitely changes the whole the whole trilogy.
Vader kills the younglings.
Yeah.
But Palpatine's the reason why. Right? So the slap is the killing of the younglings. Palpatine is Jada here. You know where I'm going?
I get you.
You picking up what I'm laying down?
I feel you.
Okay.
I feel you. All right, there you go. That is
that's the content.
That's the content. And when we continue, it is time for the bet of the day, and the week ends.
Football week.
Yep. And then next week, no more football. We're back to everything else.
It's back to summer.
Formula One.
Shopping.
All right. Not
Formula One. Not quite. Never.
All right. Back after this on 1620 The Zone.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis. 3 weeks from today, we will be at the golf course just north of Dodge on 120th Street because it is time for our 5th annual Golf Flash 4-person scramble. Go to their website today, miraclehillgolf.com/store, and get signed up. You do not want to miss it. Only $300. You and 3 others. The tournament begins at 1 o'clock. The program will be there live from 2 until 6. There will be prizes. There will be raffles. There will be food, drinks, all of that stuff and more. You do not want to miss it. We have such a great time every single summer. It's like the unofficial kickoff to football season. That will be the last Friday before the season begins the following week. It's going to be absolutely wonderful. $300, you and 3 others, miraclehillgolf.com/store, and give them a call at 402-498-0220 and book your tee times for this weekend. They're located just north of Dodge on 120th Street, Miracle Hill Golf and Tennis.
Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
It's time to find a career that's right for you. Metropolitan Community College can help you find a new path forward on your time. Whether you need a degree that puts you on a path to a new career or need to finish a degree you've already started, MCC makes it affordable and convenient with a flexible class schedule, online or on campus. It's your time to path forward. Let MCC show you the way. Register today. Classes start September 6th. Apply today at mccneb.edu/adults.
Looking good, Mrs. Dubs.
The head groundskeeper at Thad's golf course just retired.
We need to find someone in the next 2 weeks. Someone with botany and management experience.
He needs a replacement because the greens are already looking a little rough.
And aeration. They need to know it all.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information.
This message is for the guy who isn't perfect in the bedroom. And let's be honest, who is? Maybe the issue is getting it up or keeping it up, or maybe it's finishing too soon. If any of these performance hiccups sound familiar to you, don't sweat it. Hims can help. At 4hims.com, you can go online and get clinically proven prescription medication that treats these issues, prescribed for you, if appropriate, by licensed medical providers. And the medication is shipped free to your door in discreet packaging. Plus, Hims gives you unlimited follow-up visits with medical providers. No one's perfect in the bedroom every time, but with Hims, you can get a lot closer than before. And chances are, your partner will agree.
To get started today, go to 4hims.com/perfect. That's 4hims.com/perfect for your free visit. FORHIMS.com/PERFECT.
The best part of your summer night is listening to Royals baseball on 1620 The Zone.
John Bishop and Josh Peterson.
Tight meant good. Right. I'm tight. John's not. You know, like that.
It's Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
And you know why I'm laughing, don't you? Now, it's time for the Unsportsmanlike Conduct Bet of the Day. Just a little bit under where some folks would like to see this one wind up. Brought to you by nobody. You gotta be kidding. Really, we don't have a sponsor. Sorry.
Well, Ravi used his bet for Americana for autism in the basketball tournament and won.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Whereas the Cubs screwed both me and Nick.
Thanks, John.
They were busy.
I'm going to go with Chase Elliott this weekend at the road course at Indianapolis, plus 350. Come on, Chase. Last week he won and didn't have to even lead a lap. This week he'll actually have to lead a lap and he'll win. Go Chase.
Go
Team
Chase
Elliott.
Big Chase guy?
Big Chase guy.
I'm going back to the well.
Oh, you found the basketball tournament odds?
The basketball tournament.
Yeah.
We've got Heartfire against Blue Collar U.
Yeah.
I'm taking Heartfire plus 114.
John, I'm going to bet on Formula One.
Shocking.
It's the last race before their summer break.
Shocking.
It's going to be a month without racing.
A month?
Oh,
yes,
no.
a month.
Oh, no, you don't even have a real off season. Oh, no.
You know, there's going to be just as much passing in that 1 month of no racing as there will be on Sunday.
We do have an off season, Ravi. It lasts from December to March.
You see what he did there? He made fun of your sport because there's no lead changes.
There's plenty of passing, though. He's just wrong. Carlos Sainz to win the Hungary Grand Prix, plus 410.
Plus what?
410.
So you're taking the New Orleans Saints.
No, Carlos Sainz. There's no T.
The New Orleans Saints.
Sainz. Z.
Oh, I thought you said New Orleans Saints.
Yes, to win the Grand Prix, the Grand Prix.
Hungarian Grand Prix.
Are they very hungry?
The Hungry Grand Prix.
No.
Is this the Grand Prix where they have to get out? They have to like chug a beer, down some chicken wings, get back in the car and drive?
Ooh, that would be fun.
No, that's Texas.
That would be cool. I would watch.
I would love that.
I would watch.
This is the one where last year, like half the first part of the field crashed because of the rain, and then Lewis Hamilton was the only car that actually started the race, and then Esteban Ocon won, which nobody thought he would because he.
Why were they driving in the rain? It's so dangerous.
They're allowed to drive in the rain.
But don't do that. I saw the movie Rush. You shouldn't do that. I know everything about F1 because of the movie Rush.
Oh,
you shouldn't drive in the rain.
My bad.
People die.
I forgot you knew more about at the night.
Yeah, because
to be fair, Niki Lauda didn't die.
No, but other people died.
I mean, he did
in
eventually,
that
but
But
that
he
was a
got
stage.
even uglier, which for him was kind of hard to do. I mean, he was
Wow,
he was already
John-
kind of an unattractive man.
Speaking ill of the dead, that's messed up.
Well, he wasn't dead at the time.
I'm speaking ill of a sport that would allow its stars to just die willy-nilly.
You'd rather they take dirty money?
Yes, I would prefer the dirty money. It's my favorite kind of money.
Which is why when Ravi wins the money this weekend, wins the Mega Millions, he's going to ask for it in all dirty bills.
Yeah, I'm not going to launder the money. I'm going to dirty the money.
Oh,
I'm going to go backwards.
Soil that money for me, please. I want the dirty money.
I want this as dirty as possible.
All right. Next week, it's a whole new week of 25 teams. Sip will be along on Monday. Jack Mitchell. Actually, Jack's on vacation.
Everybody's on vacation.
Because it's the summer,
Well,
man.
it is the summer.
Jack never told me who I got drafted to. He made me a player in his game.
A player in what game?
Some video game.
His video game.
Kids in their video games.
His Xbox football game.
Oh, good grief.
He made me into somebody.
When you win the Mega Millions, you can buy his video game and change all the players to him, to you if you want to.
Don't need $1 million for that.
$1 billion. Come on.
I need like $20.
I wonder what the final totals end up being, like 1.2.
So I think the estimate right now is 1.02.
All I know is on the billboards it reads 999.
99.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be 1.02. It'll probably end up being higher than that because more people are going to buy than normal. But yeah, it'll be north of $1 billion.
All right.
So you take home like half that, 500-600 million.
All right.
That'll do. It's enough, I guess.
I could be fine with that.
Well, good luck to all of you who are playing.
Start digging that moat.
But
To those who
more
celebrate.
luck to us.
Yes.
I want that Prowler.
I want that moat.
That GTR.
Island of Greatness, baby.
Nick just wants to go register as a Republican.
No, hold on. Hold on.
Buy a lot of guns.
Hold on.
The 1%.
Have a great weekend, everyone. We will see you Monday.
Hasta luego.